You are live.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Hey, good afternoon. Whatever. It's 11 o'clock. Good morning
Your
slash
sound is
afternoon.
off.
Oh, is it? Wait a minute. You can't hear me at all. Audio.
I can't. It's look like you unmuted it, but now you are you talking?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It might be
Can you?
me. Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hey y'all. I didn't even know we was on. We was live. I'm sorry. But hey, welcome to this special edition of I.Am.She Podcast. I am your host, BlackRoses, and we have, of course, Mr. Nate in the building. Um, Coming to y'all on this special Sunday. How are y'all doing out there? Hope y'all tune in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to share. Like, subscribe. We got a special show today. How was your weekend, Nate? How was your cruise thing yesterday?
Um, so I am not a drinker. That
We know that.
is no secret. It's not even that I like, let me just take a sip. Like anything hard, maybe wine I can indulge in.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only because it I don't like the taste of liquor. I can smell it. It's horrible. So yesterday the Spirit cruises that used to be downtown are now called, they're owned by the city. So they, same cruise, just they just keep changing the name.
What's
And
the name of it now?
I think it's like City View or something like that now,
Mm.
but it's owned by the city. So they had these mimosas. They had like the cranberry
Mm.
mimosa, the orange, basically chaser
Different flavors.
mimosas.
Mm-hmm.
They were the chasers. But I can stomach that. It's not like a harsh alcohol taste.
Yeah.
And it was hot to begin with. It was very hot and it
Mm-hmm.
was like muggy. So I was
Okay.
already a little drained. I'm on the cruise, so I'm drinking these mimosas and I typically, I think because I'm a thicker guy, I don't typically feel it the way I would if I was probably like half my size.
Mm-hmm.
So my feeling it is just like a calm. I'm not like an overly excited person. I think alcohol brings out your real nature, and I'm not like a rah rah person. So the cruise is over. It's a little bit longer than the regular cruises. It's a brunch, so I eat. Um, but the effects of alcohol on your system is still. I don't care how much you eat on top of it.
It's
It's
still
gonna
going.
get you
You still
when
gonna be drunk.
right.
Uh-huh.
And I don't feel like I was drunk. I just was nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's starting to drizzle and rain when I get home, and I didn't want to drive downtown, so I just caught the shuttle because I thought it would be easier. It's a it's a benefit
The
of
free
living downtown. You can
the
catch
free shuttles.
the free shuttle is a little benefit,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
unbeknownst to me, even crazier, I live in the Charles Village area, so I don't realize it's gay pride and I
Yes.
live in the center of gay pride. So that means my shuttle has to take a whole nother detour and it has to go all the way up to 33rd and come back down for it to let me off. And um I fell asleep on the shuttle, feeling nice. Feeling nice. I fell asleep. The driver, knowing me, because I catch the shuttle often, um, called out to me. Because
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the back seat, I was in the first seat. Sleep. And thankfully, I said to can you? I want to get off on 25th. So he was like, I got to go all the way up and come down before I can let anybody off because there are no stops on Calvert Street to let you off. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay, I fall asleep. He is literally standing in front of me, calling me. I am asleep. So I'm a little damp. I look nice. I was put together for the little brunch cruise. It was a fundraiser for the Black Arts District, and I work
Oh, okay.
alongside them.
Nice.
So
Nice.
uh, I was looking nice, real, boat tastic. Uh, but I
Boat
was
tastic.
damp. So I get home. I'm walking through this crowd, which is still the so Charles Street from North Avenue all the way up to 33rd was closed for the
Mm-hmm.
parade and all the functions and all. So I'm walking it's just like 1.5 blocks from where it left me
Mm-hmm.
off to, but I'm walking through this sea of rainbows and half naked people And do your thing, not judging you. It's just I'm tired. I'm tired,
Right.
and I need to get out of here. And I
Mm-hmm.
go home. I get naked, and I go to sleep. I said, you know what? It was like two something. I said I got until like 5:30. I can take a little nap. My next event for the Black Arts District. I don't know who planned this like this, but it wasn't me. So the monthly Black to the Future event was also
Yeah.
last night. So I
Right.
said I'm gonna get up at 5:30, jump in the shower, and I'm gonna get dressed, get my little jewelry together so I can vend, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be off to my hosting of Black to the Future as well. So something in my spirit said, take a shower now. Take a shower now. So I was obedient to the sound and I went and took my shower, laid down, got up so refreshed and easy. Now, mind you, I was supposed to be there at 6:30. I woke up at 7:31
Oh,
and
you was
jumped
lit
out.
lit.
Oh, I was out. So I
Mm.
jumped up, I got my clothes on, called myself a little Uber and got there and was everybody know I'm normally the first person to get somewhere. I don't like to be late.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm normally earlier than the early people. And
Mm-hmm.
they knew something. So I didn't even realize my phone until I was in the Uber. And it was all these missed calls from them. And I felt so horribly bad. So, but that's Saturday. Last week, I am I'm not gonna say relentlessly, reluctantly, I am a teacher. I have
Right.
to be honest and transparent. So I'm in professional development all last week. Artists love to meet. Educators love a good meeting.
Yes,
They
they do.
love a good, professional
Yes.
development workshop. They love all that stuff. Me, no, not so much. I spent 2 days in like work PD, and then I spent the Thursday and Friday actually at my site and professional development. And we had
Oh,
to
okay.
stay there all day long. One night we had to stay an extra 2 hours just so we can meet the parents and the students. I'm like, what happened to summer camp where we just went swimming and went on,
Yeah,
you
and went on
know,
trips all
and
day.
went on trips. And all I remember from summer camp was those brown, with the way those brown paper towels made my hands smell, and box lunches.
And box lunches, exactly.
Apparently, that's not summer school no more. Apparently, that's not summer camp anymore. We gotta teach them, and we gotta do lesson plans, and I'm over it. All right, and it doesn't even start until tomorrow, and I'm over it.
Oh, so wait a minute, how long is summer camp?
It's a month, and I think
A
like a month
month.
and a week. So we're there. You're right. Remember, it used to be all summer, but now
Mm-hmm.
we start tomorrow and we end like the first, I think like the 5th or 6th of August.
So what is
So
this summer camp like? Is it all so it's not trips and fun. It's learning,
no,
learning, learning.
it's learn. So they,
Oh.
so I'm in a different type of program than the regular year. So because I decided to be a teaching artist this summer, not a regular teacher, I am the artist, and then I'm matched up with a academic teacher. So we're in the classroom together, and we're incorporating art into the day. So it's supposed to, allegedly they're supposed to be fun. And then
And
we
what
only do
school
like
is this?
one field trip. I don't want to say the school because there's haters out there, but I am near I can't even tell you what I'm near because there's no other schools in the area. But no, I'm in
Oh,
the city.
okay.
I'm near where I live. I'll say that. I'm near where I live. It's
Okay,
a
that's
great
good.
school. It's a brand new school where they
High
have different.
school, middle school,
No, it's elementary,
elementary.
middle,
Oh,
and
okay,
these
cool.
schools that they're building over, like these new improved schools, these smart
Yeah.
schools, are like
Mhm.
little mini campuses.
Mhm.
Um, we did our professional development the first 2 days at the Hopkins School. And when I say
Oh,
this school
Henderson
is,
Hawkins.
yeah, it's like a little
Yeah.
campus. And then my school is it's a little bit bigger than that school is, actually. But I would wish I would work there during the regular school year because the atmosphere alone would distract me from behaviors and parents and the administration. But I mean, I got through the week, I got through this weekend, and then I woke up today was like, damn, we got to do this show this morning. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I love being around you all, but I just maybe I should be under this
Listen, I
AC.
yesterday when you called it was like, hey, I have an emergency or da da da. I
Yeah,
was like, say no more. I got back in my bed and honey,
yeah,
I enjoyed the day laying around, lounging around, doing absolutely nothing, watching TV.
absolutely nothing.
Absolutely, absolutely nothing. My sister and my mom came over. We played in my mother here for a while, and I got back
Oh,
in my bed. I got back in my bed after they left.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
typically
was
the type
supposed
of
to hang
person.
out last night. I didn't go anywhere. I stayed in. I stayed at home
You
all
ain't go
day
to the
yesterday.
little pride.
I wanted to go to the parade. I love Pride. I love all things Pride. I
Hmm.
wanted to go to the parade, but when I seen the rain coming down, honey, I stayed in this house
Oh, they
because
was
it
out there
rained.
still.
Yeah,
They
they
was
were
out
still.
there still.
Somebody, Mika told me they were still out there, but it had rained around about 1 o'clock when the parade was supposed to start. It
Yeah,
poured down raining where I live, so I didn't know
yeah.
what
It
the
was
weather
raining
was
like
like. If
that
they was going to
everywhere.
still, I didn't
Yeah.
know if they were still going to have it or not. So I mean, the
Oh, it
parade
said the
actually
promotion for it said rain or not.
or not. Yeah, I know the block party is rain or shine, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if the parade was rain or shine.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like, oh, I'm not going out there. It's raining. I don't want to be wet. I don't want to be miserable. I hate being in wet
That's how I
clothes.
felt. That's how I
Rain
felt
was rain or
yesterday
shine. So
because
I was like, oh, I'm not going out
it
there.
started raining a little bit during the cruise. It was
Mhm.
drizzling, and by the time
Mhm.
I got home, it was like dry, and I was like, I'm
Mhm.
wet, and I'm just not feeling comfortable. But
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like being wet and uncomfortable. I
yeah,
don't
it-
like it.
it's
But
not
yeah,
a good
I
feeling.
didn't do anything. I stayed home all day yesterday. Stayed home yesterday night and just enjoyed my peace and quiet while I could.
Yeah,
While I can. Enjoyed my peace and quiet until the work week starts tomorrow.
yeah,
Basically.
and I'm looking forward to this because this is a different experience because
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I'm being honest. I don't like being in a classroom by myself anymore. Um,
Oh.
and when I say by myself, I'm not big on paraprofessionals or one on ones
Mhm.
because they can sometimes
Mhm.
enter if they're not good or they're really not in it for what they're supposed to be doing. Typically,
Mhm.
typically some of them be eating in the back of the classroom on their phone, and that's the one on one. That's not even the para. But
Mhm.
I it is a difference when there's another teacher in the room. So hopefully, my teacher is different. She's a different individual, but
Okay.
we work
She.
well together. We have even temperaments, hopefully. But yeah, it just was.
And this is your first time working with her?
Yes, we just met. Well, we met. Well, yeah, this is our first. We met during PD week. We text back and forth and email
So
prior
during
to.
PD week, what do they ask you what school you want to be assigned to, or
Well,
they
they
just
had
assign
already.
you to a school?
Well, I already knew what school they
You
assigned you
signed up
before
for this?
professional development. But the PD is, and it was like over 400 people there, and somebody had
Oh,
COVID because they announced it. So I came home every day and did my little swab and was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm wearing
so
my
is this
mask.
something you signed up for?
Yeah, I signed up for it. It's a different program. So they are really trying to get rid of the average teaching artist because they want to go. They allegedly, they don't feel like we're equipped enough to be able to teach students, even though teaching artists have been in school way before I even, was in school. So that's not a
Because
new
art was
thing.
one of my favorite classes, art and music.
Right, right. But there started to be this push to more than just the art and music teacher. So now you
Mm-hmm.
have artists that are artists by living and they come into the school and they teach all throughout the day. Well, there was some teachers, especially the teachers union or union teachers, that felt like we were taking jobs. And
Y'all
jobs
don't know how to
that,
draw.
right, you don't know how to do these things.
You don't know anything about arts, and you want
But
to be
the
an art
but
teacher.
and that's one of the reasons I'm against unions because they can sometimes make it hard for people who are non-union. And typically the
Mm-hmm.
non-union people are the management and the leadership. But in this case,
Mhm.
the non-union people were they're not registered teachers, and it could be really
Mhm.
difficult when my trade is theater and visual art, and I can teach dance as well and music, and it's hard when you have people trying to work against you. So the program that I'm in now is one of those programs that came up with a solution to keep artists in classrooms, but it's still I just for me, if you the English teacher and you got a little garage band on the weekends, you're not for me.
You're not.
You're not in this full time, so you can't be
Mm-mm.
mad at somebody who does this for a living and just so
Exactly.
happen because we technically are doing your work and our work as well because we're still having to teach them how to read because you ain't effective at it, But
Okay.
it's a lot of politics in the educational field, and it's really unfortunate, but it looks like it's going to get better, but I don't know, girl. Give me a mimosa.
Not give you a mimosa. You had enough yesterday.
Or I was
Not you.
out. I didn't hear no phone ringing, nothing. I turned that air on and it was nice and cool in here. And
Oh my god, that is the best thing.
um,
I hate when people come over my house and be like, "It's cold in here." That's
girl,
what my mama did yesterday. She came over here just complaining about the coldness, and I'm
well,
like, "Girl,
let me
your
get
house
you a
be colder
sweater.
than mine."
Right, let me get you a sweater because
Right. Let me
there's
get you a
shit going
blanket because I
on.
got plenty. One thing I do have is plenty of throw blankets. I love
Yeah,
me a good throw blanket.
yeah.
I got
I tell my friend all the time, it ain't happening. Oh, I think Black Roses blanked out. You there? Yeah.
okay. Somebody was calling my phone. That's why I hate doing a show on my phone because somebody call, it's going to knock me right out.
You gotta put on do not disturb and it won't
That's exactly what I'm about to do. You are absolutely right. Put my phone on do not disturb.
but yeah, it's been an interesting week. I still have yet to move. I gotta move soon, so
Okay, so what are they
I'm
doing
not
about
looking
you move? Are
forward.
they pressuring you to move, or what are they
Yeah,
doing?
how somebody else bought the building, so they got their plans, and
Are
I
they
mean
going to rent it
honestly,
out? Are they going to rent anything out? Or what
I
are they
think they're
planning on
gonna
doing?
redo it, so I don't know.
And probably raise
It's
the
time.
rent.
I'm ready to go, but it's just summer got in the way. The summer and the end of the school year got in the way.
Are you the only one still in the building?
Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
Supposed to
Now
be
she the only
going.
one still there.
I don't care. I don't care. But we have some stories today, allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Do you have
Allegedly.
any? Do you have any other stories other than the ones we have? Or I mean, it was
Mm-mm.
we
That's
didn't
all
talk
I
about. It was
have.
gay pride. Well, I'm gonna have to say. So you didn't come to this gay pride, but in October it's
Mm-mm.
Black Gay Pride.
Yeah.
Um, here in Baltimore. So Black Gay Pride is in October in Baltimore. And
Okay,
most
Black Gay
cities,
Pride.
a lot of cities have adopted a Black Gay Pride as well. So our Pride
Mm-hmm.
is in October, and I've been asked. I've never participated in Pride. That's just a lot of people in one space is typically not my space. But I've been asked to host an event and actually curate an event and host an event.
Oh, let me know. I'll definitely be in the building.
Oh, yeah, I
One thing
mean,
about it, I
y'all.
love
First of all, I actually
supporting.
already has a table. That's the first table that I put down. Uh,
I
but
love supporting my LGBTQ people. I have tons of friends
mhm. Well, get
who
them out.
identify in the community.
Hmm.
My sister, my cousins. I have an uncle.
But we
I have
need you to get them
I have a
out.
lot.
Get them people out. Get them out here. We have an escape
Well,
party at Shake and
oh, a
Bake.
skate. Oh, well, I don't skate, baby. I'm gonna let you know now. I
Well, you
don't
don't
know
have
how
to.
to, and I won't be
You
doing
don't
it.
have to skate. We're gonna have
Oh,
some
okay.
nice food and some. Uh, I can't tell you too much. All I can say is DJ Tommy Davis. If you ever went to Buns on like a Friday or a Saturday,
Okay, I must confess,
DJ.
I've never been to Buns before.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've only gone
Never.
like twice,
But you
but
know what I want to do that I have never
mhm,
experienced? I want to go to
no,
I want to go to a ballroom. Like I want to go to
a
a
ballroom.
ballroom thing. Yeah. And
Okay,
I don't know if they do that in Baltimore.
they do it. They do it. It's.
Oh.
I mean, I've been to a couple of them, but I mean, they do it. I mean,
I
they used
want
to
to
be at the
go. I
Paradox.
want to just go cuz I want to be like
They go. I mean,
I just want to be
well,
in
see,
the
the
front like
problem is
ah.
and the significance of, and I actually have a little bougie dinner with them on Friday. I've been going to a lot. I need to sit the hell down because I've been doing a lot. But so this Friday, I go to the meeting for them, so I'll learn a little bit more about my expectations and stuff like that. But the
Yes.
significance of Black Pride is because a lot of the venues and clubs in cities like this, specifically in Baltimore, have been closed down. So a lot of the
Mhm.
spaces that
Mhm.
were designated for those or used for those balls and such and big parties have been closed down. The Paradox, the
Really? Yeah.
Hippo,
Is
stuff like
Buns
that.
closed?
Buns was the first to get closed. Buns
Wow.
closed, then the Paradox closed, and a number of the other gay spaces because a lot of these areas are being gentrified, and the people that are coming in
Mhm.
to move in are now saying we don't want that in our neighborhood. Bitch, you just moved here. These people
Right.
have been here and probably created this neighborhood. So, in essence, the gayborhood is uh,
Neighborhood.
Mount Vernon and
Yep.
Charles Village,
In Charles
and
Village. Yep.
Charles Village, and a lot of those spaces are now being gentrified, and there's no place for the individuals to go and party and stuff like that. So a lot of our economy, in terms of that, are going to DC and Philly now, which they already
Yep.
was, but
Yep.
because they have a more established. But DC, a lot of their closed clubs down.
Mhm.
Um, so
Yeah, I
it's
know,
just
like,
unfortunate.
like you said, Mount Vernon and Charles Village, like I've only like I loved going to the drinkery. I haven't been to the drinkery in a
That's
very
the
long
only thing that's
time.
still open. And
Yeah.
well, there's something else
There's some I think like
on Howard
Leon's might be
Street.
still open too.
So on Howard
Um
Street, where I can't think of the name of it. Phase 10 used to be.
uh-huh, yeah.
There has been a gay club there, but they closed down because the partners have split. I don't know if they're going to open back up, but right now the Drinkery is really the only other,
And it's
and
so
it's another
small in
one.
there.
Yeah, so that's why it's not no. It's just a bar. It's not like a
It's just a
club,
bar, it's not like a club, yeah.
right? So most of the
Yeah.
clubs are closed down, especially in Mount
Oh
Vernon.
man. And yeah,
And
especially
there's
in Mount
a place
Vernon.
called the Eagle on Charles Street, which is kind
On
of
I've never
the
been in there,
center.
but I know what she's talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it gives gentrified gay, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah,
yeah.
that's the significance of having Pride because it's you get those moments where you can have nice clubs. Because I think the Old Choices was open yesterday when I was walking coming back home.
Oh yeah, it's called
Um,
something else now. It's called like Gatsby's or something
Gatsby,
like
yeah.
that.
So I guess
Yeah,
they opened their doors up for them to have a party there because they was at that club. I saw a lot of people going into that club as well.
yeah.
I wanted to
That's good.
participate, but I just girl, my head was still
Yeah.
spinning. So I was like, go home, mate. This
I
is not.
wanted to participate yesterday too, and I am definitely. I usually go every year with either my sister
Hmm.
or my friend Kevin, who I support. I love him. He's my soulmate. I just know he is, but he just don't
Not
like
your
me.
soulmate.
He is not. I'm just not his type.
You don't know that he might lay you down one of these days.
No, he's never
Surprise
been with
you.
a woman and don't ever plan on being with one. He'd be like, "Ugh, that's nasty."
How old is he?
Kevin, me and Kevin about the same age. I might be a year or two older than him, or he might be a year or two older than me, but we're the same age, around the same
Things
age.
might change, girl. Things
Mm-mm,
might
not with that
change.
man. He is full on, full on.
I'm telling as you get older, your wants and needs change and you never
Yeah.
know. That's why I tell people these labels that we have been bombarded with lately, and over the
Mm-hmm.
years, use them sparingly because as you get older, you will want things differently and in a different. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna say more or less, but you gonna want things differently, and you really have to be prepared for that because what you may have liked today may not be what you like tomorrow. And
What you? Yeah.
I'm not saying gay is a choice, but your sexuality is
Mm-hmm.
in terms of
Mm-hmm.
what you like sexually will
A lot
definitely
of people's
evolve.
sexuality gets them like so caught up. And me and KD was having this conversation the other day. just about being open and being free about who you like, what you want to
Tanisha
be
said good
like.
morning.
Good morning, Tamika girl. Being open about just be open about your sexuality, about what you like, who you like, what type of things you like. Like people are so sex. I don't know why sex has become such a taboo. Even in talking within our friendship circles, even when talking with your partner, if I can't talk to my partner about what I like sexually, I don't have any compatibility with you. That's just what I feel. I'm not
But
compatible
you
with you
know,
if I
but
can't talk to you.
you do know, like that is a problem in the world today. I don't care what gender or sexual
Mm-hmm.
identity you claim. Like it, people, there are people who are very selfish in that way, where they get
Yes,
into
very,
whole committed
very.
relationships and are not
Mm-hmm.
open to
And are not open about what
exploring
they
or
like
even
sexually.
just
Yep,
talking
exactly.
about. And I've
They
dated
just
people
want
who
some
just,
regular schmegler plain sex.
yeah.
Regular
And there's a lot of
schmegler.
unhappy people who want to be
It is a
loved and,
lot of very unhappy
yeah,
people, and
yeah.
I'm not the type of the person. I'm not the type of person to kink shame someone. I want my partner, whoever I'm with, to feel safe enough to come to me and say, I like this or I like that. I like this way. I like that way. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be able to do that. Now, however, I'm gonna have to
Yet
be
and
like,
still.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I can try it, but I don't know. Like I do have my limits, but it's like,
But the limits are still based off of public opinion, or
no.
it.
My
I
limits
mean,
is
if
based
you
off of like how I feel. Like I don't want, if I have a husband or a boyfriend, I don't want to do a threesome with him and somebody else. I don't like sharing my man.
and but that's when I say public
That's a
opinion,
limit for me.
it is based off of what publicly we've been taught, and a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff trickles down to if I have a threesome, that's gonna open up the door to
Oh my goodness. Let me
KD
put
is
my phone
here.
on do not disturb.
That's gonna open up the door to X, Y, and Z happening, or they can be cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that stuff is just not true. Turn your phone around for me, KD, if you can. Um, it really, a lot of that stuff doesn't really happen the way we think it's gonna happen, and we have to sometimes get to the root of what our sexual um indiscretions are, or our sexual
Mm-hmm.
things are, so we can be more open and more available
Mm-hmm.
to learning stuff. Now, I only say that because, as I said, in the last couple years, I've been more not experimental. I'm not saying I'm doing the stuff. I'm just saying that I'm open to.
Experimental.
No, I'm saying I'm open to the idea of it, or at least talking about it, and getting rid of some of those things that we learned in community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're waiting for Miss Black Roses to decide for her, I'm She After Dark sessions. But in planning for that one, or me thinking about what that would look like on my half, I wanted to. I've been talking to a lot of guys, and I'm actually looking for. And if you all know any guys that are very expressive, or at least open to being expressive about that, I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
start one specifically for men. And me and another guy that I know came up with one called Mask On, Mask Off. Now the premise
Oh,
of
I
it,
like that. I want to be
the
a part.
I mean, we're gonna allow women to come in and talk on certain atmospheres, but I want men to be able to be comfortable talking.
Yeah,
And
I do too.
so,
Like I like when men are comfortable expressing themselves in front of
mhm,
other men, or even just in general. Like I don't know why, it just does something to me. Like it give me that warm, fuzzy feeling when I see a man express himself about his likes and his desires sexually. Like I don't know why, it do something to me. It just does.
because
It
it's
just
it's
does.
so it's the elephant in the room. It doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
we played that video last week where it talked about, men don't have that space to be comfortable. And it's crazy. Even me interviewing hosts for this show, it is crazy that how many men are not comfortable. And
Mm.
so the difference in this show is only going to broadcast on Twitter because I want people to be able to come on and show their sex work, or if they do OnlyFans, be able to show their work. But and not just for gay men, but straight men as well. And some of these men who do this for a living are not comfortable or even able to have conversations about what they do. They just want to
Mhm.
do it, or they want you to pay them to do it, or they just want to be able to do it in one of those ways. So I created kind
Mhm.
of a bubble in that Twitter space for my broadcast and somewhat of my alter ego to be able to talk to these men, and
Not the alter ego.
I want to be. I mean, because it's things that we do, but because I work with children, I'm limited to what I can really show in the world, and that's
Mhm.
the only thing that really keeps me from being totally expressive about it because it's not appropriate in this space. I'm not gonna say
Right.
appropriate. It's not acceptable from people who are doing the same thing themselves, basically. So
Versus
I
if it
just
was a
want
woman doing it.
versus if it was a woman or another type of man doing it. They're
Mhm.
able to get ways.
Mhm.
Some people are way away. Just like right
Mhm.
now, if you go on Twitter, it's nothing but sex, and it's mostly men doing it.
Nothing but.
And you see more black men doing it, and that I wanted to get into the
I
psychology of
saw
it.
my favorite. I have a favorite porn star, and guy. I have a favorite girl and a guy. But my favorite porn star guy, I
You are
am so in
disgusting.
awe with him about his sexuality. It just, and I love his wife, who's also a porn star,
She
just
know the
loves
family,
him and
KD.
allows him to
She know the
have that.
family. What's
Yes,
his
I know
mother
the
like?
family. I wish I knew, honey, because I'd be trying to hunt her down. I love how
Let
his
me
wife
find
just
out.
supports him. I just admire the whole thing. Like, I just
But that's
admire
my
them
point.
as a couple. Like, he is so open with his shit. Like, it's like
But
I
that's
like
I mean,
that.
some people are born that way and some
Uh,
people are get that way, but a lot of people are
Mhm.
supported in that. And typically when you
Mhm.
find people who are very open and expressive
I
about who
think
they
when you
are,
find a partner that supports you in that way, it's
hmm
nothing that anybody else could say. Because as long as my partner is good with this, I'm gonna be
yeah.
all right. That's how I
And
feel. I feel like as long
even
as your partner
yesterday,
supports you,
I was on my way home late last night after the event, and I saw couples like it, and you could tell they were couples. And
hmm
I was working on a project, and there was a couple, and he was clearly bisexual, and it looked like she was too, but they were married, and I was
they
like,
were
okay,
married.
do you?
Do you,
But
boo? Do you?
that's not something we were taught was out there. We are taught that that's something
hmm
that they starting to do now. But no, these couples have existed for years. And I'll tell y'all after the fact how I know that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
can't release everything yet. You gotta come watch the show. But yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
KD has joined us.
Hey,
yeah,
girl.
It looked like she running away from home.
It looked like it.
I'm not.
Looked like
I,
she ran.
I'm not. I had to find a place because it's a lot of stuff going on in the house. Everybody getting ready. Some people going to the lake. Some people going to the pool. Everybody just getting ready. It's a lot. So I
And
was
she
like,
said, let me get out of here.
right.
Let
Let
me
me.
just get in my car and sit down for a
Adjust
minute.
your phone, Black Roses, so you more center.
I don't know why we
You
got
know I
on
want to hold this.
shirts, and that wasn't on purpose because I literally just got up and was like, "Oh shit."
Well, you just trade. I just finished selling Black Roses. I had too many mimosas yesterday, and the same thing happened to me. So I was
And
definitely I feel you.
I was sitting there and I got the post and I'm sitting there talking to my mother just as nice. We talking about the Titanic that sunk. And I said, oh shit, it was something that's supposed to say.
Hmm.
I'm
Look at
here. Look,
you.
I'm here. I made it. I ain't never late. I made it. I'm here. I'm not Black Roses, so, but I'm here.
Don't
Hey,
do
y'all.
me.
It's okay,
Don't do
Daisy.
me. Don't do me.
Hey,
I was
y'all. So
on time.
I pulled the Black Roses today. I just rolled out of bed. I brushed my teeth though because I thought it wasn't nothing a lot. I thought I didn't have anything to do, so I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't get my coffee, so yeah, I'm asleep. But good morning,
Y'all look
y'all.
like
I'm
y'all got
here.
on the same shirt.
That's what I said. What is going on? want to
That's
I
why I
say.
got
asked
on
her
a
to adjust
sweatshirt.
herself because y'all was looking like Siamese twins for a second.
I know
I have
that's
on a
what I said. I
sweatshirt.
had to look
I
at
hate
her
holding this
print.
phone, y'all. I tell you, I hate holding this phone. I
But
got
get
to
it.
get me a I got to get me a what's it call them?
Oh,
I have a tripod for you. I'll give you this other tripod.
but yeah, good morning, y'all. This is my. I am so excited. This Friday was my last day in retail banking. Is what they call it. I am now
Yay!
mortgage banker. So I guess if you guys
So
need a,
you gonna hook me up with a mortgage?
that's what I'm gonna
Period.
say. If you guys need a lower percentage on your mortgage rates, your interest rates, come talk to me, and I'm gonna tell you all the M&T secrets. But don't share that.
I need tell me how to get over this credit check that they will do.
Okay, period.
Mm.
Tell me
Lord,
how to get over these humps. Give me the secrets.
I ain't gotten it yet. I'm gonna
Give
figure
me
it
the
out.
secrets
We
when you get
patient.
in there.
We patient.
Uh-huh. I take some time, honey. I ain't ready yet, but just
Yeah.
let me know what I need to do, how to get over it, what to say.
Yeah.
Everybody is saying that. Like my stepfather, and my mother, they are looking to start investing in lots and properties. Like we're trying to, well, what we're trying to do is do it as a family. We're looking at bigger properties, and everybody put money towards it. So it's a family
Mm-hmm.
investment. So that's a big thing for them. So they really
Let me be your
out.
first project.
Period.
Yeah,
Habitat
so
humanity for me, please.
yeah, just
Yeah.
and now is the year, and it's been years, and a lot of people still haven't tried to sit down with family members and just crush these you know bitter better. I'm just not dealing with you when you're not in my space. Y'all just gotta kind of put that to the side and start doing like these white people. We really just have to look at this generational wealth and how to build it, and that's a project we've been talking about for a long time since my mother got down here in Florida and she started
Mm-hmm.
looking at the different lots and how cheap they are, and even like really big lots. And my mother is she's a social butterfly, so she talks to everybody. So she gets to these older people, these Caucasian people. She get up in their ear and she sits in their space and she listens, she pays attention. So it's a lot. Even myself, like going to some of the things they had around here, like they have like pool parties and stuff like that. Just meeting
Mm-hmm.
like the different neighbors and just sitting back and just listening to their conversations. These people are smart, like, and we don't pay attention. We
But
just
it's not.
got
But
this
I'm gonna tell
thing.
you. I'm gonna tell you.
We
It's
do, we
not.
just don't come together and do it.
And
No,
I think the
it's not
other
even
side of
that.
it.
It's
I
like
think the.
most of us is like, what? Well, I don't want to be around white. The people that's within my circle, that's the majority of what I hear. How can y'all live in white neighborhoods and I don't like these white people? Listen, they ain't say nothing to me. I ain't say nothing to them, but I'm going to listen because guess what? That's where you find out what you need to find out.
But it's not. It for me. It's not even. Well, two things. It's not so much that they are smarter. It's just they've had
Mm-hmm.
more access for a
Yep.
longer period of time
Right.
Mm-hmm.
than we've had. A lot of this stuff was used. They built those types of systems to get more on our back. So of course we wouldn't be privy to the information. And on the other side, we it's hard to really just get over stuff. Black people are not built that way. It's either we going to fix it and get rid of it or live with it for the rest of our lives. And that's I'm not saying those are the only two options. Those are
Well,
the
you
only two
should
choices we've
too.
made. And a lot of us have to get to the root of a lot of the trauma that has happened within our families, and a lot of the feelings. Like I'm right now trying to plan like a group session with me, my mother, and my sister, because there are some things that it's not necessarily we've done to each other, things that we've experienced and
Mm-hmm.
Right.
separately that has just made our relationship null and void, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a damaging cycle. And I keep beating all these people and saying, well, if you do this and you do that, and I had to look at myself and, Nate, you're not doing it. Like
Right.
you're not going to therapy, and I'm going to therapy for me, but I have never invited my sister and my mother. And I know me and my sister have seen things that really structured how we communicate. And with me and her, we have a certain level of communication with each other that we don't share with the rest of the world, that we're not like that with anybody else other than the two of us. But I know my mother, if we've seen things, I can only imagine the stuff that my mother has seen going into her 60s now. So I can just imagine what she's seen. So I think a lot of us need that group space, and we got to start creating safe spaces for each other. And it's going to be hard because you're going to feel like you're the one who's making a lot of the concessions, but creating that safe space, especially for the men in your life. And for you all being
Especially for the
women,
men.
right, especially for those men in your life, you have to create a safe space for them to want to heal and grow. And I'm seeing that it makes a difference, and it
It
takes
does.
time. It takes time.
It
It's not
really
going to
does.
happen. It
It
may not even happen in one generation. It may take a couple years,
it
for
really
that.
and it really does because even from my own personal experience, my husband coming from a family where his father was on drugs, so he never really built a relationship, and his mother at some
Who?
point in time was an alcoholic, so it's never been a real structure there, a real
Yeah.
space, and he pretty much ended up being the caretaker, the provider for the whole family. So it was a lot, and it really took him. We've been married for 15 years to to now. We've been married for 15 years. This is the very first time I
Mhm.
can see a difference in his attitude, a relaxation, because he's around my stepfather, my mother, and
Mhm.
everybody's just host. The family setting is different, and
Right.
to the point where he's expressed it openly, and he never did that. It's never expressed a
Mhm.
happiness. I'm just there. I'm happy when I'm with y'all, as in my immediate family. But when I'm around my family, I feel like I always have to have my. I feel like I always
Guards up.
have to have a. Yeah, I have to have a wall up because I don't know what's
Yep.
going to happen. I don't know who's going to pop off. I don't know who's going to cry. I don't know where this going to come from. So I always have to have a barrier. But now it's just a sense of like he gets up, he goes to work, he's happy, he's
Mhm.
excited, and now we are having those conversations that we couldn't have before about the importance of leaving generational wealth, of building for a family, because those are never conversations that there was never a space to have those conversations around
Mhm.
when he was with his family before we came along, because they just don't think about stuff like that. They still healing, or trying to heal, or still hurt by everything that went on in their past. And I like it. I like it. He is just so, his positivity, his just whole aura, like, I never, like, I've heard people say, you can see the change. I can see the change in you, but to actually physically be there and see it myself is wonderful.
And
Like,
that shows. So what I'm saying is actually correct. Like you have to, and we're gonna talk. One of the topics that I added on today was the incident with the lady whose son shot the man in the store because they got into altercation. And it's when you look at the comments about it, it really does split down the middle. Like men, some, and not just men, but people see her side, people see his side. People don't understand the son.
so
But
let's go into
you
that
have
topic first.
okay. So let me see if I have. Let me get that out. So
What you say?
in
What versus
Chicago,
what?
so in Chicago, uh, there was an incident, and we're gonna see it.
Who? Get in the car? Who? Nay. Get your food. Get your food. If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my grandma, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Talking about what? Oh, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Who? Get in the car? Who?
So the backstory on this, a little bit of backstory. So we're gonna say allegedly because it is very hard to say who's at fault here. So this man and this woman were in this restaurant, this carryout, and an argument ensued. It's not clear what they were arguing about, but the filming started at that point of them at the end of the argument. Now, there's at least two or three other people watching this, not to mention the
Mm-hmm.
people on the other side of the counter.
Mm-hmm.
This ensued. So allegedly, she texts the son to bring the gun in. People are speculating that she told him to come in and shoot the man. Other people, well, I guess they've seen the video or they've seen the text messages, and they're saying that the son came in with the gun, and at the point where the man was punching his mother. So what you see there, because some of the tapes have blurred out after the first punch, but you hear her head hit the wall. You hear him punch her, and then he has her in the corner continuously punching her. You at the beginning, you hear her saying something, and him saying, "Shut up and get your food and get the hell up out of here," basically. But you also, there are other footage uh from cameras, like the security cameras, where you see the son is still shooting after him in the parking lot. So even if the man gets out of the restaurant, the son is chasing behind him, still shooting. Now I'm a preface this
Didn't he
part.
kill him?
Yeah, the man is dead. So the son and the mother are facing murder charges. I think the mother has been arrested. I'm sure the son, who is, I think they say he's 14. I think he's also facing charges.
14?
Yes, yes.
No.
So let me preface
No.
this with two different things. The conversation that me and Kay was having a couple weeks ago about you having a gun in the home and showing your child how to go get the gun if in case you're in an emergency. So part of that emergency is if somebody's getting the better of me, what are we supposed to do with that gun? I
Right.
think me and KD was talking about that a couple weeks
Weeks
ago.
ago. Yeah, y'all were.
Now, I'm gonna say for me, I'm gonna say now. I'm prefacing this by saying there is domestic violence in my home. Well, not in my home, in my family.
I'm
Um,
about to say, you getting your ass whooped at home?
no, no, no. I'm speaking about being a young person. There was domestic violence in my family. I watched my grandmother be beat by her boyfriend, and this is as a young child. There was.
Wow.
I've been told that my father was inappropriately hitting on my mother. Well, there's no appropriate way to hit on somebody, but um,
I
that
was about
my
to
I'm
say.
just not because I'm at peace with it now, so I had to explain it in a way that does not trigger me again.
Mm-hmm.
That my mother. I've jumped in the middle of other fights between other family members that were caught in domestic situations. So this is something I grew up watching. Now, had I been a witness to my mother getting beat, my grandmother, that was I was like 5 or 6. So mentally, I don't know where my mind was. I just knew that was wrong. But had I grew up in a space where my father or my stepfather was beating on my mother, I knew where my mother gun was. That would have definitely happened. I would have shot the shit out of my father or my stepfather. It wouldn't have been a question. So the comment, I'm just being real about it. It would have bang bang dead. It would have happened. But so the question in this is, so you can hear in the video, there's a woman, I guess, watching this saying, he told you, basically saying you should have just shut up. Now maybe
No.
she should have to not de-escalate the problem, but
Right.
that is at
Well,
that
at what
point,
point do we hold him accountable for threatening a woman?
and
At
vice
what point do we
versa,
hold him accountable for him
because you can't.
having the anger to the point where
Right,
you feel like it's okay to hit her?
right. So on both sides, we have to begin to hold people accountable, because if you know somebody is off, even if you just meeting them, this I don't know where this will go. So let me de-escalate this and let me back off. But in some cases, I'm justified in speaking my point, because I say this a lot about, especially in the black culture, people feel as though they can bully you and they can say
Mm-hmm.
whatever they want
Mm-hmm.
to say to you, and take it. You're supposed to sit there and just take it.
Now,
I
see,
think.
I'm gonna be more open in this point right here. This is where I'm gonna express something that happened to me
Hmm.
recently. About 2 months ago, I was involved with a person who I had heard, but I didn't have any proof that was um, an abuser. And one particular day, I'm at a friend's house. He's there. He came to argue with me, but I wasn't allowing it to happen. So in the process, I fall asleep on a couch. And in the process of me being asleep on a couch, he slaps me. Not like a playful, just like a haul ass, slap the shit out of me, woke me up, but I'm like, I know only one person that did it because he's standing there. And I'm looking at him like, why would you do that? And some people were taking up for me, but one thing that really hurt me was I heard somebody say, well, what did she do to him to make him slap her?
Right. And that's a question we often ask.
Fucked me up because y'all know this man abused women. He has a track record, and so y'all say he's done this before. So if I'm innocently sitting here and he haul off and slap me, why would you say, what did I do to him to make me slap him?
Wow.
I mean, what did I do to him to make him slap me? I don't think we take accountability. I don't think we hold people accountable for their actions until if I would have reacted, I then would have been the problem. But simply because I chose to get up, walk away, and go home and not escalate the situation, because I could have. I should have. Normally I would have. Y'all know the old me. You know the old me. I would have been like, let's fight, bitch. I'm ready to go. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to give him or them the excitement that they were looking for inside of the argument. Huh?
I would say, I saw Tamika send a message. I didn't know what she was about to say.
So I don't think that we as people hold women especially when it's not us. Because we can say what we going to do in that moment, but until it happens to you.
And I'm right behind you because I was getting ready to type in the chat. What's the
yeah, he need his ass kicked because he had tried on several occasions to create a domestic violence situation. But I'm not that type of bitch because ain't no nigga finna just beat my motherfucking head in the wall for breathing, bitch. You got me fucked up.
So I'm a because domestic violence has been in my family deep. I know each of my aunts, my mother's sisters, my father's sisters have been a part of domestic violence situations. I'm gonna tell you specifically from the stance of a man. There's several different scenarios that can happen, and I'm not saying your scenario was not relevant, but I'm saying we have seen several situations on both sides where someone else has been the aggressor, and the person who acts out is then blamed, or vice versa. You know, and sometimes, especially in relationships, no matter what the sexual orientation of the person is, we have learned in Black situations not to get involved. Because as soon as I get involved and I'm in jail, or I done beat the shit out somebody, or even in the case of this story, somebody's dead, we see that person who we were trying to rescue and to support
back in a situation.
Go back with them, or at the funeral crying harder.
Right.
You know, even in the situation that I said I've been in, like,
and then run and tell on you. And
go run and tell on you.
Right.
Yep. So we see this happening. You talked about this with your brother, KD. We've seen several situations where the story ain't all together. So what happened? And that normally the details of these stories are gone. And again, I'm not saying your story was lesser, Black Roses. I'm just saying why people choose not to jump in or just believe at face value what happened. And often women are at the end of this, meaning we don't know what happened. What happened?
I get it when you put it that standpoint of view.
Yeah, we don't know sometimes what happened, but you do have those situations where women are in relationships where niggas just want to beat a bitch head in because she breathed wrong, and essentially that's just how he is. It's not just something like, oh, Crystal got a slick ass mouth, so she probably no. The real reason behind it was because I didn't answer my phone, which I feel like I didn't need to, and tell you where I'm located. Why do I need to? You're not my father. You're not paying my bills. You're not doing anything for me. why do you feel the need to know where I am at all times?
For
Yeah.
me,
So
kind of the
that
background.
created an environment where you felt like it was okay to
Yeah.
disrespect me and to think that you could put your hands on me and I'm just going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So, the issue with me is like the background behind it, because I'm pretty sure, like you said, from when you first started off, your first statement was everybody know that this person is known for this. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
understand now, going back to what Nate said and saying
Mm-hmm.
that the reason why we are standoffish is, for instance, my situation where my brother was called and he eventually lost his life because somebody else is situated.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the thing that's really sitting with me is just trying like a better solution. I mean, I understand on from both aspects because I've been on both sides. I ain't never had nobody hit the hell out of me because I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna let y'all know I wouldn't be here. Mama wouldn't be here. My brother probably would be here, but we all be in jail. But
Mm-hmm.
from just like from thinking both sides over, there still is a better resolution without anybody getting involved to get hurt. That just saying, like for instance, Crystal situation, there still is a situation that there is still is a solution without anybody getting directly involved. Like as far as it, if you saying Black Roses that everybody knows him for hitting people, why not have warned you, took you to the side? They didn't have to make a direct contact and say why you hit that girl, you know what I'm saying? Or yeah, jump into it. But before the situation even escalated to that point, somebody should have had enough courage to at least step up to you and say, hey, listen, I don't know you, but just from past situations, just be careful. We need to start
Right.
emulating stuff like that into when we see situations like that. Don't just say, it
Mm-hmm.
goes back to that, when you see something, say something. You ain't got to be direct. And I understand from that standpoint. From my own personal experience, I understand from that standpoint, you want to be standoffish. You don't want to get yourself involved in something that you ain't necessarily got to put yourself in. But there is
But
still
sometimes you do
ways.
though. Sometimes you
Sometimes you
because
do.
because just like you can say that to the person who is at the end of that behavior, that stuff needs to be said about the person who is initiating that behavior as
Right.
well. How many
Exactly.
people go to them like, this ain't the way, man. This,
Exactly.
miss, this ain't what you should be doing. Like
Exactly.
it needs to be,
A
and it needs to be
conversation.
both
Right.
simultaneously.
Right.
Right.
It's other solutions. You don't have to make it. It don't always have to escalate to violence. Because guess what? I'm pretty sure that same person, that those type of guys, those type of guys. They are those same type of guys that will follow behind their homeboys to a T. I mean, whatever they say to a T. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, they can talk. Their homeboys can talk them into like basically like followers.
Right.
So they're homeboys. Meanwhile, y'all standing around, y'all know what's going on, y'all know the type of person he is. Why y'all even bring him? Like y'all bringing him to the club when y'all know as soon as a girl declines his offer, or say, I'm not interested, he gonna pop off and swing. When y'all know that's the type of situation, sit down and have these conversations. Don't just think, make be passive
Mm-hmm.
and be like, yeah, man, we gonna hit the club tonight. Da 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 da. You coming. Have this
Don't take little
conversation
rah
with
rah
that
when
man
y'all know
before
little
you
rah rah
bring
don't
him.
don't do
Right.
well with women and he
Have
drinking.
that conversation with him before
Mm-hmm.
you bring him with you and put him in this space amongst these innocent
I
women
be
that
so
don't
scared
know
sometimes because
what's
men be
to
so
come.
no jab at men, but men be so unhinged when you tell them you are not interested. I had an instance where I walked to the little store by my job one day on my break. I decided to go to a little chip store, give me a little snack. I'm in there minding my business and shopping, getting my little shit. A guy walks up to me and says, "You got a boyfriend?" I'm acting like I don't hear him because I don't want to indulge. So I pulled my hair back so he could see my AirPod, so he could think maybe she not hearing me. He says it again, but this time he taps me, and I'm like, "Huh?" He like, "You got a boyfriend?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." "Well, you can't have no friends." "I don't want any friends. I'm
And
good.
why
No,
do
I'm
I have to
good.
respond to you? Now, if you just simply said hi, I can understand that. But you
I'm
asking me
like,
the
I'm
question,
good."
why do I have to
But wait a
respond
minute.
to you at all?
I'm saying I'm good. Like I'm good. I'm good. No, I don't want any friends. I'm good. He went from 0 to 100 and goes off and was like, "That's what's wrong with you bitches nowadays. Y'all always talk about you good. You ain't the prize. I'm the prize. I'm this, that, and the third. Y'all bitches act like da, da, da." And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at the cashier. We looking at each other like, what the fuck just happened? All because I told you I'm not interested in giving you my number. I have a boyfriend, which I did not at the time, but I didn't want to talk to him. I have a boyfriend. Now you want to go to, oh, you can't have no friends. What friend are you going to be to me? How can we be friends? We're not going to be friends in this moment. It was just so unhinged. Like the way he went from 0 to 100 bothered the fuck out of me, all because I told him I'm good.
And you know,
imagine the women, like I think about the story about the girl in Brooklyn who the guy wanted to buy her bottle of wine. She's like, no, I got it. I'm good. I buy my own wine. And he proceeds to beat her up outside, him and his friends. All because she rejected him. The countless of stories of men shooting women because of rejection. Like, you niggas are so fucking unhinged out here. It's crazy.
Not that I speak for every man, but so in this moment, there's a lot of outcry and outpour of triggers and trauma and struggle. This did not start yesterday.
No, it didn't.
This is decades in the making. And we are still, some of the songs that I hear women bopping along to are disrespectful to you. I just heard a song, I don't know, I think it was Little Baby or something. Bitch, I'm the prize. I ain't chasing after you.
This song is always been like that, though.
These are the lyrics that you all are jamming to.
Right.
And I'm not saying women are the problem. What I'm saying is you are a part of it, because we are all.
I don't think we are part of another man's being unhinged.
No, but
listen
to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, Black Roses. Listen. It's not about, I'm not speaking on the actions. I'm speaking about the environments that we are creating
that
around
still don't
young
got nothing
men.
to do with me as a woman. I can listen to whatever I want to listen to. I can support whatever music I want to support, but that don't mean it gives you the right to still feel like you can mistreat me.
But this is the problem. Hear what I'm saying, not how you feeling about what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying. We are all supporting a culture that's promoting this behavior. That's the biggest problem.
This has been going on for years.
But
this didn't just start. This supporting of music has been going on for years. Them calling us bitches and hoes and shit like that, to the point now where we call ourselves bitches and hoes. But it does not equate to the fact of how men in reality feel like it is okay to treat a woman. That does not have anything to do with that. If you are a fucked up individual, you are a fucked up individual. And we have to stop holding other people accountable for our fucked up actions.
That fucked upness that happened didn't just happen
to them. It's not somebody else's responsibility. That's between you and your fucked up ass mama who didn't teach you any fucking better. If we gonna blame somebody, we're gonna blame her fucked up ass and your fucked up ass daddy who didn't teach you shit. That's who we gonna blame.
Even resonate, you know what? And it may not have even started from that, because from the aspect of the situation that you explained it to me, it sounded like he just may have had a bad rejection experience, and so this is how he comes off. It don't sound like it's speared down to his upbringing. It could have just been a matter of fact.
It could very well have been
not taking up for him. But not taking up for him. I'm just saying, like, from seeing, like, stuff in front of my, personally, it's just being out and seeing people, and some females and the actions, are just as bad. So it may not have started from his mom. Don't talk about his mom.
And then I'm not
talking about him.
But that's my point in general. We are judging people, and justifiably behavior needs to be judged because it needs to be rectified. But it needs to be rectified. So this man now, how many times has this man done something like this? Right. Speaking about the video, And nobody did anything.
Anything
Nobody
at
said
all.
anything to him. Nobody tried to jump in. Nobody
That's what
tried
I
to
said. He was
steer
too
that
comfortable.
steer that
Nobody tried,
behavior.
and then it was the
He was
grown
too
man, the older
comfortable.
man who walked out of the store when he noticed that shit was going left. He didn't try to stop the young man or nothing. It
Yeah.
was women in the store and everything. Like it was just nobody tried to stop him.
That
Nobody
man
was
was
like, all right.
that you could tell that boy did that before. His attitude, he was too comfortable within his, like it was like he was in his space, like he was too comfortable to be able just to pop off on a lady. And that lady looked like she was a little bit older. I don't know if it was because my camera was small, but the lady looked like she was a
They
little bit
probably was
old.
about to say, and it looked like they may have been around the same age.
But
When you look at the pictures.
when I was younger, when I was younger and coming up from the generation that I came up from, you
Hmm.
ain't see that kind of disrespect. If these corner boys, now I was raised when I was younger on North and Pulaski. Y'all know about
Uh-huh.
North and Pulaski. That's where all the dope boys. And half of them was my fake uncles. All the dope boys was
Hmm.
my fake uncles. But if that would have happened right there at
They
Sons,
all would have
y'all
jumped
know where
in.
Sons was right
Right.
there at Sons on North and
Mm-hmm.
Pulaski. And
Right.
and that would have happened to any, it could have been a junkie. A
Yeah.
woman that was a junkie.
Yeah.
Them niggas on that corner would have ran up in that store and
Right.
grabbed him up
Would
by
have
his
ran up in
throat.
that store and beat him down.
But a lot, and again, not not explaining away this because I don't necessarily agree with it. But a lot of men, I have an uncle today. He does not like me at all. And one of the
No.
reasons was I used to live next door to this couple, and he used to beat the shit out this lady.
Mm.
And my grandmother had just been killed because somebody broke into her home, tied her up, and left her for dead. And
Oh my God.
I had had it at that point. Like something you experiencing something like that, you have no more love or compassion for people. And up until that point, I mind my business. That's the culture we were raised in. Mind your
Yeah, it
business.
is.
You hear somebody getting
Mm-hmm.
their ass beat in the house across from you, unless
Mind
it's
your
in
business.
front of you, you don't deal with it
Or direct.
more directly involving you, right? But I called the police and he was pissed off at me. He's like, "Won't you just mind your business?" And what I said, I said, I wish somebody did not mind their business when they heard my grandmother screaming. And since then, he does not fuck with me. And I think it's just the reality of what I said. He just could not deal with it. And I get that because he's in that criminal activity framework. You just mind your business. But a
Right.
lot of these young men are not being brought up in a way that you think they should be brought up.
And
And
now
they're
it's
being,
even crazy because, like you
yeah,
said, for instance, with this story, the woman called her son. It seems like that is more common now. Think about the little boy that I think he went to Emerson High School or Mervo or something like that,
hmm,
and his grandmother or aunt
yeah,
seen the guy in the driveway up there in Baltimore and called him, and he shot the man in the car. And it
yeah,
was like the aunt or grandma should be charged too. It was an African boy. He came over from Nigeria or somewhere
yeah,
Nigeria, somewhere like
Liberia,
Oh, you
that.
talking about the boy who shot the man over there on Walker Avenue? The
Right.
innocent, he was a cop or something, a detective or
No,
something like that,
no, no,
or his
no.
wife is a detective.
This guy was like a real estate agent, but he was just in a driveway waiting for somebody. He was trying. I think he
Yeah,
was trying to
I know
get
what you're talking
directions
about.
or
And like
something
the
like
little
that.
17-year-old boy that went to Mervo shot him.
Yes, and went back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
because
wife was a police
grandmother
officer, or even
or
he was
yeah, his grandmother or aunt or somebody
got
called
scared
and
because their
called
house
him.
had
Why
got
would you
broken
call him out
into.
of school?
She said their house had either got shot up the week before or their house got broken into, so she was scared
But
and
that's
called
what I'm
hmm,
him.
saying. That's what I'm saying. This revolving door is now becoming extremely common. Like, why are you as adults calling these teenagers, your teenage aunt, your teenage nephew, or your son to take you the what they look at the one, the guy, the guy, the grandmother or something was, or the mother was trying to catch one of those MTA buses or ride buses or something, and she got into an argument with the driver, the bus driver, and she called her son, and the son and the bus driver exchanged fire. They
Where was
both
this
shot
at?
each other. I want to say this was in New York or somewhere like that. But she got into an argument with the bus driver, called
Mm-hmm.
her son. Now here's the story, because they made fun of it. It wasn't funny, but they made fun of it because they said she called her son. Her son had somebody to drive him up there, and she stalled the bus. He exchanged fire, but it just so happened that the bus driver had a gun too. So they exchanged fire. They both ended up getting arrested for exchanging fire on each other, but they both ended up getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
But they were saying, like, if you had a way to run up there and shoot somebody from your grandmother calling, why didn't you have that same driver just take your grandmother wherever she needed to go?
That's
Yeah.
just like the girl who was dating a football player just recently in the news.
I
His
watched
name
that
is
one.
Travis Randolph. How she
Mm-hmm.
had a whole husband and he was her boyfriend, but she got mad that he was dating other women, called his brother up there after she put her hands on
Yeah.
him. She
And
I
he
put her
brought a
hands
bunch
on
of
him
people with
and
him.
he brung up and somebody got killed. And he
that
went on trial for something that she
girl.
constructed, something that she did. Now I can see that. Like, I want her to be held accountable for the murder
Accountable.
of that young. I don't know if it was her brother. The
Accountable.
stories are conflicting on whether it was her brother or her
It was
brother
her
homeboy.
brother. No, it was
Okay,
Well,
her
her
so she
brother.
need
brother,
to go to
Texas
the
jail. She need to
the
go to jail.
brother brought the boys with him,
boys with
and
him.
one of his friends
Friends
shot
got.
him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But after fighting him, so I'm saying all these scenarios, it definitely means that there's a lot of different things going on here. So and it's not, and I'm reading what Tamika says. It sounds like to me he probably didn't really like women. And
Or maybe because he
unfortunately,
couldn't make
that
it
is
up
a
about
truth.
who it really
But
was.
I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
that's the go-to truth every single time, because a
It's
lot of
not a
them,
go-to truth every single time, but it's a lot of truth for a lot of men.
we can't even say that, because the thing is, there may be an incident where a woman did something to them, whether it be sexually assaulted them, whether it be didn't protect them like a mother or a family woman should have, or they were in some type of situation with a woman and they got into some type of trouble
And
on the
not
behalf.
and
So
not
a
even
lot of
just
these things
taking
can be true at the same time.
and not taking men's side, but let's be honest, it's common. It's becoming just as common where women are beating on men, are being verbally abusive, physically abusive too, on both sides. I'm not
Right,
taking I'm not taking a man's side by far,
right.
but you seeing that just as common on social media. You seeing these women
But a
coming out,
lot of men don't speak out
like you
about it
just
because they
said,
feel embarrassed. They
like you
feel
just said.
ashamed. They feel like, how you just
Hmm.
let, they homeboys laughing at them, like, how you let her whip your ass like that? Blah, 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 blah,
But
blah.
it's like
Now
you
Like,
just
on
a
said.
lot of men don't have that
now
in
on
them.
one side of that, ladies, on one side of that, so we just look at that one particular issue. What happens when that has happened repeatedly in relationships? Whether your mother was doing it to you whenever she couldn't beat on the man that she was with, so she beat on you, and now you grow up and you have the same situation with a girlfriend or a female friend or acquaintance. A lot of this stuff is stuff that is just built up in these men, not excusing their behavior or the results of that trauma, but saying these is when these men are being spoken to behind bars or in mental institutions, these are the things. And I know personally working in some of those environments, these are the things that come out. These are the things that start to be unveiled, where it was somebody that was irresponsible with them as a child. So this is how they react. That young man who just slapped that lady or punched that lady and got killed, he's seen that behavior somewhere. That's how you're taught to respond to things you don't want to deal with. Punch the shit out of it. That's how young men are being raised. And I'm not saying you sit your son down and say when a woman is talking back to you, you punch the shit out of her. It's not being said in that way. It's being shown. And we know children, they listen to what they see you do before they listen to what you say to them to do.
I
And
know
we can keep
personally.
on right.
I know me personally, when I moved down here, the first week that I moved down here, my middle son had an issue where that's what a little girl decided. She wanted to keep picking on him because he was new and he was from here. So
Hmm.
because he wouldn't speak to her, she kept trying to get a response. Now, mind you, the little girl had a boyfriend, a whole boyfriend. But
Right,
I don't know if they said at the end of the day, they said if they thought that she liked him, but because he wouldn't respond, she kept on speaking to him, and because he wouldn't respond and he wouldn't talk back to her, she
right.
then started making fun of him. Now it takes a lot because my that son, he basically can kind of be like, whatever, whatever. Because if
Right.
he really wants to, without using his hands, he's a rapper. So if he really wants to, without using his hands, him and my other son, they practice all day. So he could have joined on that girl so bad, he probably would have made her cry in the classroom.
But
And
everybody has
so
a breaking point.
that's what happened. He ended up speak. At first, he was just letting it pass off, like I ain't worried about her. But then it got to the point where she was doing it every day, and everybody started laughing. So he like, all right, she don't know me, so I'm about to go in on her, and got her little feelings hurt, and
Yeah.
she decided she wanted to follow him out of the school. She
Hmm.
decided she wanted to follow him out of the school, cussing at him, calling him all types of names, and then
Right.
she turned around and proceeded to swing on him because she was upset that he was still talking. So he's walking, but she's behind him, like, yeah, you little dirty, da 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 da. So he's walking, but he's still talking. He like, big da 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 da, you little dirty, da da da. He's talking back, but he's walking because he got to get to his bus. And I guess because she couldn't get him to turn around, and he responded and still like basically hurting her feelings, she
Hmm.
decided to swing on him and brought two guys with her behind him and was like, I'm gonna get them to bank you. Well,
Mm.
decided to swing on him to get things started off so the other two could jump in. Well, I told my son that I don't care what y'all can judge me or not. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I told my son, I don't give a damn who hit you. Nobody has the right to put their damn hands on you. If they
Right.
hit you, you hit them back. So she proceeded to swing on him, started swinging and popping on him. He picked her up. He didn't pop her, but he picked her up and slammed her down. She got back
Mm.
up, decided to fight. He picked her up and slammed her back down. Well, the two boys that she had already recruited
Yeah.
off of something that she started, they was on standby, so they thought they was going to jump on him. But by the time they went to go jump him, by then the school, for the people in the school, the principal and them had jumped
Yeah.
out of there and ran out. But they found out, and you know what they said? He knew. So this is what happened because he knew, and he different, and especially he from Baltimore. But I had to tell him that ain't no damn excuse.
And those young men now they have an animosity towards him. That now that we're at this point and they didn't get resolved from it, now they have an attitude. Now they got something up against them. And
And that's the bad part about
right.
it. Did they
Yeah.
go home? Here's my issue. Did they go home? Because the principal ended up, everything was on camera because they have cameras everywhere. So everything, the whole thing that was escalated from beginning to end was on camera. But the
Hmm.
issue, so they ended up getting suspended. They suspended him for fighting. But they
Right.
also end up suspending the girl, giving her more time and giving the boys. But the issue is, here's my issue. Now that they came and figured out what actually happened, that it started from this little girl's mouth, did when they went home and these boys who were involved, when the principal told them that they had nothing to do with it, so why did they even jump in? Because the girl told them to. The their
Yeah.
parents correct them? That's where my issue is. The their parents, because that's something that I would have done. I
Yeah.
would have said, what the hell you had why was your butt involved in this situation that had nothing to do with you?
Right. Right. And that's the I think in like in our parents' time or before us or when we were younger, it definitely was one sided because you saw this aggression starting to happen with these young men, and it wasn't out of
Mm-hmm.
nowhere because you saw their uncles and their fathers and family members in their neighborhood. But now it's become a way of how we communicate with each other as friends or as lovers or married, whatever. It's the way we now communicate with each other, and it's ridiculous because now you can't say it's the hymns because
It
that's
right.
how all of
That's
us
what
are
I'm trying to
communicating with
say.
each
That's
other.
what I was trying to say for Black
Yeah.
Rose. Like, you can't necessarily say, because he's had two situations. Now, my middle son, he looked older.
Hmm.
He has like the real nice bone structure, and then he has these really cute locks, and he has them in a double twist with the little blonde at the bottom. And now he coming from Baltimore, coming from going to Florida, coming from Baltimore. He had not one but two instances where these girls
Hmm.
decided that because he didn't respond to them and they liked him, but because he wouldn't give them a response, that now he a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I knew this story would be triggering for all parties involved, and I've been reading the comments for the last couple days over this topic, and what I'm hearing is how disgusting the mother is, because the thing that is now being left, that's especially in our conversation, that's being left out, is the son was text. So there's no, they don't, no official text messages have been released, so we can't speculate as to, did she tell him to come in and shoot him, or did she
She
tell him,
just
because
got
it's being said that she was a legal concealed weapon carrying person.
Well, then she shouldn't be arrested because he hit her.
But but
I
see,
don't think she
the
should. I don't think
issue
they should
is,
go to jail. He hit her.
right, but see, the
Keep
issue
your hands to
is,
your fucking
the
self.
mother didn't go get the gun
She
and do
told the
this.
son to
The
allegedly,
son brought the gun in, and the
allegedly
son shot
shot off.
the young man. So that's where the gray area comes in. Who's at fault? You know, what would your son have done?
He'd have
Would
shot the
you,
shit out of his ass too.
so, and many people are now siding on the man that
Yes,
was killed, meaning,
right.
you know, we, nobody should put their son in this type of situation, but we don't know what the mother said in the text message. Now,
It's no way no child or any grown, I don't care if he was a grown man and did it. Nobody is going to sit there and let their mother get her head beat in by a nigga she don't know, whether she know
right,
him or not,
right.
and not do anything. Especially he's a child, so he know he can't beat that man. That man could have
But
turned
at the
around and hit
end of the
him.
day, but see,
Shoot his ass.
but here's the issue, because I was talking to my mother about this. Okay, so here's the issue, because I'm looking at it from, I don't know, I'm just looking at it kind of universal, like, because now it's kind of triggering, because when y'all said, when you said what you said, Black Roses, about, nobody had their right, but we have to think before we react. So her escalating it more, I think it could have been enough again, and I could, y'all call me a world saver, it's another resolution. And let's just think back to the young lady down here that just got shot because she wanted to go confront the white lady that shot through the door. And because she threw the tablet or something at the little boy's head, so the mother went across the street to
Right.
confront the white neighbor, and the white neighbor shot through the door. Now I feel so bad for that situation, because it could have been prevented. Because when me and my mother sat down and we talked about this, I said, well, why didn't she just call the police? Because before any of this escalated, the lady could have got charged alone for assault on a kid by throwing that
But
tablet.
we don't think about
Why
stuff
do
like
we
that.
have to
But how
continue
you
to
feel like she would have
confront?
got? She didn't even get locked up for shooting the woman. So you know,
She did
goddamn
got
well,
But she's
locked
she
been
up.
wasn't gonna
arrested
get locked
She
now.
up
got
for shooting.
arrested.
She's
She
locked up
got
now
arrested.
because it's making national news. But
But
they
what
did
I'm
not lock
saying,
her up originally for shooting that
No,
lady.
they
So what the
didn't.
now that
hell
could have,
made you
now
think she was gonna get locked up for throwing a tablet?
a
Allegedly,
child, that's
let's
a
use it. I
lawsuit.
hate that fucking word, but let's use your word.
She had
Allegedly, she would
cameras.
have got locked.
Well,
She would have
She
got
had
locked up for throwing
allegedly,
that
cameras.
tablet.
She had
No.
allegedly
cameras.
it's for
That's
legal
how they
purposes
saw that she had cameras around her house. That's how they was able to see the interaction between her and the
and the
mother,
little
because they
boy.
said she
Yeah.
had cameras around the house. So I'm pretty sure. But either way, you can physically see the damn mark. And if you're going to sit there, and the same thing, if you're going to sit there and have the little girl testify, because they pretty sure that they are going to have that little girl go up there and testify that she was a witness to see that lady shot out that daggone thing, because they did the same thing to my nephew. That's what put the nail on the coffin. They brought my nephew, even though he was underage, because he was the
Well, let's
witness
talk
that
about
looked
this. Hold on, wait a
outside.
minute. So you got to
So
think about this. So let's use a real situation, not to be putting your business out there, but just like your nephew saw the instance recently that happened with his mother, and what did he do? He helped his mother,
he
right?
helped his mother, right? Because she did the same thing.
Subsequently, he
She
ended
did
up
the
getting
same
locked
thing.
up for it or
Called
going to
him.
jail for it. But at the same time, no child is going to allow anybody to put
Yeah.
I'm
their
not
hands
saying
on
that.
their mother.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, okay, let's go. Okay, let's talk about my nephew. You right. He ended up trying to get charged. He ended up having charges pressed against him because he came. But how did he come to that? This is what I'm trying to get to. How did he end up at that scene? Because when my nephew was called, we was in Virginia. We was 5 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
His mother called him. This is what I'm saying. Stop calling. I understand what you're saying. And if in the
Right.
situation from where, I don't know, I don't want to bring up your personal situation, but in a situation, if your son is standing right there and some guy pop off and swing on you, yeah, you can't control your son, because that's a natural instinct for
But
a
stop
child
calling
to
people.
protect his parent. But to call and bring
Yeah.
reinforcement. My problem is that these mothers, these grandmothers, these aunts are calling these underage kids to defend them. That's my issue. You are ruining your child's life because you are
Even if it was a
calling
grown
your
man,
child.
you're calling people into a
So
situation
in
that
that
has
point,
nothing to your role.
what y'all essentially saying is she should have just got her head beat in and walked away
No,
from it.
she could.
That's
No,
what
you
y'all
know what?
saying. Because
She
what
could
other
have handled
situation
it
would you want her to
differently.
do?
If she was the certified shooter, call your son and tell him to bring the thing. I'm wait, or I would have
Between
left.
her shooting him and her calling her son and shooting him, they
I
both
would
going to
have
jail.
left. I
And
would have left. No,
he
because
still
at the
would have went
end
to
of the
jail
day,
too because he brung the gun in there. He
it's her
essentially would have went
gun.
to jail because he brung the gun in
It's
there.
her gun, though. She protecting herself. She didn't got her head beat. It's her gun. She's
At this
protecting
point, all I
herself.
heard is y'all just want her to get her head beat in and keep
No,
walk
I
away
No,
don't
from
want
it.
no,
her to get her
but
head
but
beat.
That's
but
I'm
all I
thinking
heard.
about the kid.
but
At
That's
it,
what
this
I'm
point, that's
thinking
all I heard.
no,
about.
but I know it's laughing and joking, but Black Roses for me, just like in the case
I
of
got
it,
an issue with the kids. I got an issue with these
yeah,
mothers bringing
Just
their
like in the
child.
case of
As
you,
a
Nate, if
mother,
you were to see
right.
your father beat your mother ass, what the fuck would you would have done?
Already told you
that's
he would have
that's
died
what
years
I'm
before
saying.
he
You're
died.
not listening. That's
I'm
what I'm
just being
saying.
honest.
You're not
If
listening,
okay,
Black Roses. That's
hold
what
up.
I'm
If your mother was
saying.
to call you, you was outside, you was out
Right.
hanging
The
out with your friends,
issue
and
is
your mother called you
calling.
and say, Nate, your father in here whooping my ass. What would you would have done?
That's
I
my
mean the
issue.
same, but see, and I'm gonna answer
What
this.
would you have
No,
done?
I'm answering it as honestly. I would have done the same thing whether I was there presently to see it or I was being told about it. It was the same thing. But there's a culture of calling on not just children, but calling brothers and cousins and uncles and
Baby,
neighborhood
if David
friends.
was to knock your head between the fucking washer and dryer and stomp that bitch in, and Lil David was standing right there, what would you want Lil David to do?
That's a hard question to ask,
It's not a
especially
hard
a
question.
mother.
I'm
It's
It
not
not.
gonna
is
sit.
because you don't want your child to get in trouble. Like
If your
Right. I'm
son
not
saw
calling my
you getting
damn
your
son.
ass beat, so
I'm not calling my
you
damn
sitting there
son.
yeah,
getting beat up by your husband, and you see
I'm
your
not
kids are dead.
calling my
So you gonna
son
get your ass
because
whooped is all I heard.
you
no,
want
but
no you want do you want my honest opinion? Do you
Yeah,
want
what
my
you
honest
gonna do?
answer? Do you want my honest answer?
Girl,
I
give me the
am not.
answer.
I am not gonna sit there and let no nigga beat on me because guess what? This is my
Sitting there
issue.
letting a nigga
This
beat
is
on
my
you.
issue. This
First
is
of all,
my
he a man and
issue.
you a woman.
This
First of all,
is
he a
my
man, you a woman. You
exactly.
weigh
And
12
I'm in
pounds,
the
David weigh
house.
200.
And
How
I'm in
you
the house. I'm in the house with goddamn frying pans with knives and other things. Think about your situation. Let's think about your
though? But
situation.
say you ain't got that
Let's
though. But
think
say you
about
ain't
your
got that. Say you
situation.
outside and he whipping your ass outside. You ain't got no frying pan, no knife, no
I'm
nothing.
not
You out there getting
calling
your
my
ass beat.
son.
What you gonna do?
I'm not gonna call my
So
son.
you
That's
just
not
saying
gonna
you
be
gonna get
my
your ass
first
whooped. That's all I heard.
instinct. No, I'm not gonna get my
but see,
ass.
So what you
hold
gonna
on,
do?
KB.
What you gonna do?
See,
I'm not
What you
gonna
gonna do?
involve my child. That's the thing. I'm not gonna call
right,
my
it's
So
son.
who
and
you
a
gonna
lot of
call?
mothers.
That's my
Who are you
issue.
gonna call? Ghostbusters?
I'm gonna call Ghostbusters because that's my issue.
No.
I'm not gonna call
So
my
you
son.
gonna allow your husband to beat on you because you didn't want to
I'm
call
not
somebody
gonna
to get
allow him
him?
to beat
But
on
hold
me.
on, ladies. I don't feel like that is a fair. I know these are situational things that we're discussing, but I don't think that is fair
How is
because
that fair?
it's not a fair way to set up this argument because
It's
simply
not an
because you're
argument. I just want to see what your response is going to be.
And I'm
You
not. I
said
just
your
right,
said
response.
but
I want to see what
you
her
have to
response is
believe
going to be.
someone's responses in the same manner. If I
And
had
I
a
said it.
child,
She said
even
she
if
not
I
gonna
was
call
I'm
somewhere,
nobody. So
not
I said
gonna
you
call
gonna get
my
your ass
son.
beat.
right,
That's the only thing.
No,
I said
I'm not
you
gonna
said you're
get
not
my
gonna call your
ass
son.
beat.
You're not gonna call somebody. So basically, he's going to beat you up.
I'm not gonna call my son, and I'm not
yeah,
gonna get my ass beat. I'm gonna figure out. I'm not gonna just get my ass beat, and that's it. He might beat my ass right then and there, but trust me, it's gonna be repercussions. But again, my issue is I'm not
We not
calling
talking
my
about down the
child.
line. We said we got that out the way. We got that out the way. You're not calling your kid. You're not calling your brother. You're not calling your stepdaddy. You're not
No,
calling
because
Jesus.
they
You
can
just
handle
going in that
things.
situation in that moment. You just going to let him beat you up.
I'm not gonna let him beat me. I'm gonna sit there and fight back. Of course, I'm gonna sit there and
You're
fight
gonna fight
back.
back, but you're not gonna
I'm
win.
probably gonna
You're
call
not
the
gonna
police or
win, so
something
you're
like
gonna
that. I'm gonna
essentially
call the
get
police.
beat up.
I'm
You're gonna
gonna
get
call
beat
the
up.
police. Kia is a snitch. KD is
Call
a
the
snitch.
police.
I'm calling the popos. The
And he gonna
popos
be
is
whipping your
coming.
ass while the police on their way too.
But
You
that's
already
but
going to jail.
but
I'm
He
gonna be a
gonna
you,
certified
he
snitch.
gonna beat your
but
You
ass.
I
He
going
gonna
to
keep
understand.
beating
jail.
your
I
ass until the police
understand.
come.
I really understand. I understand where
I'm
you're
not.
coming from, Black Roses. But the reality of your
I
your,
cannot
your
with y'all.
perspective is based off
I'm
of
not calling
your
my
personal
child.
experience.
It's not
It's
based off of my personal experience. I'm
I'm
just
not putting
asking
my
what would
children
y'all
in that
do? Y'all
situation.
said what y'all would do, and I'm going with what you said. I'm
but you
not
can't.
I'm
twisting
But
your
not putting
words.
my
I
children in
just
that
asked, what would you
situation.
do? Nate, you said in either situation you would shoot back. You would shoot the
I'm
person
not.
for your
I'm not
mother.
doing it.
KD
I'm
said
not
she
or I
doing
would
wouldn't
at
it.
do
least jump into
anything.
the.
And
I
all
would
that,
jump
I'm
into
just
the
looking at y'all
incident.
answers. That's
That's
it.
what I said. What I'm saying is,
But I also have a mother that would not call me to defend her.
thank
That's
you.
right.
And
That's
I'm
right.
that mother. I'm not
Okay.
going to call my
So
kids
you
to
gonna get
defend
beat
me.
up. That's all
No,
I'm
I'm not going
saying.
to
And
get
there's
beat up. How the
nothing
hell you
wrong
know
with
if
me
I
saying
can't
you
beat
getting beat
David?
up.
How the
It's
hell you
nothing
know
wrong
I
with
can't beat David? How the
it's
hell
nothing
you
wrong
know
with
if
me
I
saying you
can't
got
beat
beat up.
David?
Why you so
I
hung
can
up
beat
on
the
getting
hell
beat
out of
up? You
David if
got
I want
beat
to.
up.
Let me tell you something. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, because you know
KD, we know you would
Willamette, you
not
know
bust a
my
grape in a fruit
grandmother.
fight in Welch's backyard. Stop
Don't
playing
be
games. We
don't
know
be
that.
don't be damn fooled, because you know when you know my upbringing, you know my mama, you know my grandmother. My grandmother
I
used to
don't know
before my
nothing. I don't
grandmother
know
was
nothing.
saved,
I don't know
before my
nothing.
grandmother was saved, she'd tell you in a heartbeat. My grandmother husband was very abusive. She ended up leaving my grandfather, but he was very abusive. And you know, to that point, he hit her one time. It took one time, because my grandmother used to carry a switchblade and a 22, is what she said. My mother has been in a relationship, has never been abused, but she had a man that tried it. It was Jessica Daggone father, and he
Oh, she
was
naming
gone.
names. Good God.
He
No,
was
she is in
gone.
it.
And
Y'all
he
good for
was
naming
gone.
the
So
names.
the family in
I
the
ain't saying
background that
nothing.
I
I'm
come
just
from,
listening.
the family
That
in the
don't
background that
you
I come from,
listen,
ain't
you coming
near
from where you
one of
coming
them.
from ain't got nothing to do with a
Ain't
man coming
near
from where he
one
coming
of
from.
them.
It
Ain't
don't have
near
nothing
one
to
of
do
them
with that.
in
You
no
saying that
situation.
like
What I'm
that's you.
saying,
That's not you. You
but
don't
what
know
I'm
what you gonna
saying
do until
is,
that situation arises. We
I'm
can
going
say
to
I'ma beat
take
the shit
care of
out
it
of nigga.
myself.
I'ma do this. You don't
I'm
know
going
what
to
you're
take
gonna
care of it
do.
myself. I'm not calling my
You don't
son. That's the
know.
issue. I'm not calling my son. I'm telling you, I do know. I'm not
Okay,
calling my
we get that.
kid.
You don't gotta keep saying it. You said it
Cause you
5,000
keep
times.
you
You,
want me to
I
But
say
ain't
you
say
keep,
call your
but
son. I
you
never
keep,
said it. I said
but
that's what you
Black
said.
Roses,
You
you keep
said
bringing
you not
up
calling your son. Okay.
but you keep bringing up the scenario as if our answers are
You
incorrect.
twice, and I asked
right.
her twice, and she said what she said. I'm not bringing nothing back up. She went down the line about what she would do. I didn't ask you that. I
I'm
asked
gonna
you,
beat the hell
what
out of
would you
David.
do if you was getting your ass whipped by your husband
I'm
in
not
that
And
gonna
she
moment?
beat my
answered
What would
it,
you
but
do?
ass.
she
And she,
gave
and
you,
okay, I
but she
didn't
I,
say hold
answered
on.
it.
I just said
I
you
don't
was
like
gonna
the
get beat
fact
up in
that
that
you
moment.
keep saying
All I
that I'm
said
gonna
was
get.
you was going to get beat
I
up in that moment. You felt some
don't
type
tell
of
me
way
I'm gonna get beat up
about
in
me
that
saying you was
moment.
going to get beat up.
How you
Y'all
gonna sit
felt
up
some
there
type
and
of
say I'm gonna
way.
get beat up just because my
Nate, I
husband's
asked
bigger than
you.
me?
I asked you twice. I
Don't
said, what
mean
would
we
you
can
do if
fight.
your mother
Don't mean
called?
we can
And what
fight.
would you do if you seen it? You answered. I asked her the same question. I didn't say
I'm not.
nothing else
No,
about it.
that's
I
not
left it
what you
alone.
But
said. That's not what
part
you
of
Y'all
my
feel some type of way.
scenario
Y'all
is
mad.
said.
I don't
I
care.
don't have,
You are. You see.
and I think a lot of questions, and I'm not speaking on you personally, but I think a lot of these questions stem from people not feeling protected. And I know the women in my family would definitely fight back.
Thank you.
I've
That's what I'm
watched them
trying to say.
fight back.
And she's making it seem like it's a problem that I can't fight back.
Right.
That's my issue.
I
She's trying to
never
say like I'm just
said
gonna get
no,
beat
no, no,
up.
no, no.
I would
Pause,
just get
pause.
beat up
Time
when
flag
she
on the
beats you
play.
up. How
I
you know if he
never
gonna beat me
said.
up?
I never. Hold
But how
up.
you know if he
I
gonna?
never
That's what you
said.
did say when he beat your ass. That's what you
Listen,
kept
you're not listening.
saying.
You're not using your listening skills. I never said you didn't have to fight back. I said you gonna get beat up. You getting beat up don't mean that's
How?
like me.
That's what
That's
I.
like you go out here. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish. You go out here and get into a fight with a woman and you fight her back and she whoop your ass. That don't mean you didn't fight back. That just means you got beat up, right?
But why you gotta keep on saying I'm gonna get beat up? How you know if I'm gonna get beat up? My husband might be
Listen, you're
trying to
not
get
listening to
careful.
you.
Who
You
knows we
hung
can
up on the
fight?
words beat up. Okay, fine. Let me rephrase it. You go out here and get into a fight with a girl. You beat her ass. That don't mean she didn't fight back. That mean you beat her up. That mean you
Right.
won. Right?
So
So
why
why
can't
are you so hung up? Wait a minute. I never said that you were gonna not fight back when it came to fighting David. All
yes
I said
you
was
did.
essentially he's a man. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna
Yeah.
overpower you and win the fight.
But
Can we
that's
play
However,
it
not
I
back?
true
asked you,
though.
Can we play it
Let
back?
me finish. Let me finish.
Go
I
ahead.
never said she wasn't gonna fight back. I never said that. I said if he beat
Play it
you
back.
up. Y'all not understanding. Play it back, because y'all are not fucking comprehending. For him to be a teacher and you to have 4 kids, y'all need to be
We're
fucking
hearing
listening
what
here.
you're saying
Y'all
though.
not hearing, no. You're
I'm
hearing to
hearing
Go
what you're
ahead.
respond.
Go
You're
ahead.
no.
Go
hearing to
ahead.
respond. You're not
Go
hearing to
ahead.
listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
said to you, if you got into a fight and your husband was whooping your ass, would you call your son? You said no.
No.
I said,
But
what would you do? You said, I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna fight back. I said, okay, if he beat you up, then what? You got beat up, right?
I'm still not gonna call my husband. I'm still not
You
gonna call my
wasn't gonna
kid.
fight back. I'm not saying you wasn't gonna stab him. I'm not saying you wasn't gonna do nothing. I said essentially, if he whooped your ass, what would you do? That's all
Call
I
the
asked. And
police.
y'all took it
Fight
overboard.
back. No,
Call the
but
police.
but
That's
Just
all
call the
she
police like
said.
a white
You
boy. I'm gonna
took
call
it
the police like
overboard.
a bad
Y'all
white
going
boy.
overboard.
no,
Y'all
it's
talking about
not.
what
But
y'all gonna do. Y'all took it too far.
understand, Black Roses, what your statement was. She answered
Yeah,
you.
but
She
you
said she would fight
and I
you,
left it the fuck alone.
and
She
she
kept
No,
going
but
you
about
she
her great
didn't.
added.
grandmother, her great granny, her 3 cousins on her great
No,
niece
you
side. I
didn't.
don't
You kept
know.
saying no, you didn't. You really just kept going back and
And you
forth
was
and
gonna
saying
get beat
you
up,
gonna
and
get
you
your ass.
got hung up on the fact that you was gonna get
Exactly.
beat
That's
up.
what you said.
But
Get
it
mad! Why are you mad about the words beat up? You gonna get beat up. Period. You gonna get beat
no,
up.
but see,
You gonna get beat up.
words.
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
say
You
Black
gonna
Roses.
beat him up.
Hold on.
Let me make
I'm
her
just
feel better.
saying.
You gonna beat him up. You gonna beat David ass, and David got his ass whipped by KD because he tried to fight her and she whipped his ass. Does that make it better for you?
Yes, it
Does
make
that
it
make
better.
it better?
It make it
Okay, let
better.
me help you
Because
out.
I
Because
don't want
clearly
people out here thinking I
y'all
can't
being y'all
fight.
very
It makes it
Gemini
way
sensitive
better.
ass self, and
It's
y'all are
not,
being
but
very.
it's not about. You have to be.
Oh God,
You have
you
to
guys
be
are
It
so
makes it
hung
mindful
up
of
better.
on the
your
words.
words,
Okay, I'm
though.
sorry. KD beat
It makes it
David's ass. Let
100%
me help
better.
her feel better about herself.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Let me help her feel
understand
better
though,
about the
Black
situation.
Roses.
Y'all
Understand.
are retarded.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not about that at all. But
Phrase
Okay,
see,
it
you
that
you
way.
retarded.
have to
I'm sorry.
watch how
Y'all are
you
being
say things
remedial
to
in this
people.
moment.
Phrase it
It's
that way.
not.
It's about how y'all being really.
It's
It's
the same
not.
thing that what you said though. You said you not. What did you say? Hold on. Let's take it back even further. When you brought up the conversation about the guy walking up to you on when you was asleep and slapped you, what you say? Because the Black Roses that I am, I'ma beat a nigga
Exactly.
ass. So why is it okay for you to know that you don't
Wait.
that because the
No,
Black
no, no, no,
Roses
no,
you
no, no,
are,
no, no,
you
no.
gonna beat his
I never
ass?
said I'll beat a
Why?
nigga ass. I said I will fight back. I said the Black Roses that I used to be will beat a nigga, will fight a nigga. I will fight a nigga. I'm not gonna win.
And
Exactly.
that's
So
I
why
know
all
I'm
can't
that
not
I
gonna
she's
just
win.
simply
I
saying.
fight
don't have. Wait
back?
a minute. Time out. I don't have a problem with admitting that I can't beat a man. Am I gonna fight a man back? Absolutely.
Right. And
He
that's
can
what I'm
over.
saying.
Wait a minute. I'm not hung up on the fact that a man can beat my ass. I'm not hung up on that. It's nothing I can do about a man beating me up. Now, if a bitch walk up to me and whip my ass is a different story. But if a man walk up to me, I know it's no way. I don't give a fuck how tough I think I am. I know I cannot beat a man. I
That,
know if Nate
but
decide.
see,
Wait a minute.
pause.
Let me finish. I know if Nate decide to slap the shit out of me today, and I fight Nate,
First
I
of all,
know
don't
nine
put
times out
that
of
on
10.
me. You already say I hate women, so we're not gonna put that. I'ma slap you. We use another person. Use another person. But and these conversations, KD, until she comes back on, these conversations they puzzle me
Like that
and
a
they
man
worry
is
me
could
because
possibly beat the fuck out.
they're based on our experiences, and I have issues not with our experiences, but how we look at life now that we've had those experiences. So you're feeling that a man will always beat you up, will always not beat you up, but always beat you is a mindset that I can't have young ladies moving forward with. Because if a man beats you, I need you to be strong enough to fight back,
To
one,
fight back. That's what I'm
and
saying.
not necessarily if it's not a fact of you winning, but I think if you're in that situation, you cannot go into it saying, I'm gonna get beat up. I have
The
issue with
point
that.
that I was just initially trying to make was that
Yeah.
the point that the solution that I was initially, because you said we should not, if we talk about topics we need to come up with solutions. The
Yes.
solution that I'm coming up with is the fact that that we really need to think about stuff, because a lot of times we do put ourselves in situations that didn't necessarily have to happen. That's what
Right.
I'm starting to see a lot, especially a lot on the news, on social medias and stuff. When I think things through and I think about and hear things on the news, it just automatic. That's just me. That's my mindset. It just automatically comes to me. Well, damn, that could
Right.
have been handled better than that. And I don't know if it's because I'm older or what have you. I just feel like
Yeah.
situations could have been handled better than that. Even down to my brother's situation. She didn't
Yeah.
have to call my damn brother. She didn't have to call him at
But see,
all.
and that's my point example, my point exactly. So your experiences or lack thereof shapes your viewpoint. That's just human nature. But a lot of the stuff that we know, because even in that film, you hear the lady in the video of the altercation in the carryout, he told you. So we have put ourselves in a state of mind that because he told me to shut the fuck up, I was supposed to shut the fuck up. Or because he looks like he's the type of person, or I know he's the type of person that's gonna pop off, I need to shut my mouth. And I'm a person that don't necessarily believe that, but as KD's point is, certain situations we need to start making better choices. Because a better choice for that mother was to shut her mouth and get the fuck up off that store. Or her son was
Because
gonna
you
come
don't
in.
know what the that's the thing,
So
and
now
that kind of
now
goes back to Black Roses, what she was saying about the young man that approached her and just couldn't take no for an answer.
right.
You don't know what these crazy people is out here thinking these days. You really don't know where their mind frame is. And even with your situation, Black Roses, when that guy approached you and you wouldn't respond with him or give him the yes that he wanted to hear, it could have
Hmm.
escalated even further. That's what I'm
Right.
just saying. Just thinking, just rethinking, just thinking through situations. And I know all it's not gonna always happen in the moment, because I can't say that if I'm just sitting in the house and somebody decide to rob my damn house, I can't tell you in that instance if it's gonna go the way I planned in my head. But if there's a situation that can be prevented to cause a
Mhm.
tragedy, I feel like we really it's more common, more common, more common, more common that we not thinking through these situations.
The only issue, and I'm not saying the issue that I have, the biggest issue that I have in that scenario is her calling her son, period. Whether she
The
told him
issue
to
that
come
I
in
have is
there,
that nobody around. That's the second. The issue that I have is that the person who was recording, there was another person standing right there, and that
people
nobody else.
behind the counter,
Thank
all that.
you.
It was enough people that could have overpowered him versus holding a camera and making comments. Because you saying out loud, he told you, only escalates him even more. So now he's pissed because, yeah, I told that bitch. Now he's in the corner punching her. I don't have the mother that would have called me in, and I don't know why that is. Maybe she didn't feel like I could protect her, or she wouldn't want me to get in any trouble or me to get hurt. But that's my biggest issue.
That's
It's not the
my
only
thing. And
issue.
that's my thing when it comes
Right.
to my kids. I wouldn't call them in because I
Yeah.
wouldn't want them to get hurt, especially if, like I said, as a man, and I know I'm already being overpowered. I'm gonna try my best to fight. But as a man, if he bigger than me and these are my sons, more than likely he bigger than my damn son. So no, I'm not gonna call them and put them in a situation where they can get hurt. That's my thought process. I don't want my kids to get hurt. That's
I
Yeah.
my
don't think it
thought
was
process.
right for him to. I don't know if he did a
We can't
blanket
see
acquittal
you, Black
on him.
Roses. We
Oh
can't
my
see
god.
you.
Oh, my phone fell. I don't think. I don't see where he. I don't see where he said where they said he chased him, but I do see that he
Well, that's
did kill
that's
him. But
the that's the footage that you see outside. That's more accounts
oh,
from
okay.
the
Now I
standbys, and
don't
then
agree
there's
with him
photos.
chasing the man down and shooting him. That one shot in that carry out would have been enough to scare him off of his mother. But I
But
don't think he should have chased him
that's still
down
my 14-year
to.
old child shooting
Yeah,
a
I
gun.
don't
I
think he
would
should
not
have
put him
chased
in
him
that
down to kill
situation.
him. No, the
But
whole
that but
situation shouldn't have been to kill him.
but
No.
to call him in, if and let's say allegedly did tell him to come in and shoot or protect her, what do you think is gonna happen if the
What do
man
you think is
runs
gonna
out?
happen?
That son is
Yeah,
gonna be in that situation. And I say we have to stop judging things with in the moment. You don't know what you
you
gonna
don't know
do.
what.
I,
Yeah, you don't know
and
what you're gonna
and
do in
it,
the
it
moment.
just brings back to me. I watched a man snatch. Remember when herringbones were like big in the 90s? I watched a man
Yeah, real
snatch
big.
a herringbone chain off my mother's neck. And my
Wow.
reaction, my pure gut, and my mother, why my mother, I know my mother would never call me because she's seen my reactions to things. I chased after this man. I had the neighbors, my mother, the police all surrounding me, yelling at me. Like, why would you don't know what he had and you turned that corner with him? Now he dropped the herringbone. I brought the herringbone back. In my mind, that's all I wasn't intended to hurt him. I wanted to get my
You just
mother's
wanted the
chain back.
necklace back. Mm-hmm.
Right. And because it really was my necklace, but that's besides the point. But it in my mind, we have built up, especially, the incident that Katie talks about her brother. There's a culture of people calling people, whether they're in the right or the wrong. And in many cases, it's to defend their pride. And this has nothing to do with you physically harming me. It's to protect their pride. And we're calling these men, specifically black men, into these situations, and they're ended up in jail or hurt or killed even. And it's unfortunate because and it's not to say you can't call people, but this is the result of calling people, because now that person has to go twice as hard dealing with that individual, or they're walking into a
Mm-hmm.
situation that you may have caused. You
Mm-hmm.
may, and I'm not saying women shut up. I'm not saying that. But in that situation, you saw that man was not in his right mind. You saw that. And you arguing with him was not going to get him back on course. So you then call your son into a situation, not knowing how this man, you don't know if he had a gun. What if he had a gun? What if he
Right.
had a weapon? What if it was other people in there with him that was going to defend him with your son? Like, you don't know. I don't suggest you call anybody in. That's my case. If you can get to a police or you can get somebody to call the police, fine. But I don't agree with calling children in. Agree with calling family members, because now we have a beef. And look how many situations where it's a gang or a neighborhood that over a course of 2 years now, how many people have died trying to defend this one situation? So now somebody is going to react, hopefully not, to their son now being killed. Because they're not going to see that my son beat the shit out this lady in the car, yo. They're
Right.
going to see
Nobody
They
gonna
that
see
gonna be
that.
in
somebody
full
shot and
house.
killed. Right, they're going to see
Mm-hmm.
that somebody shot and killed my child. So now that little boy
Yep.
is in a facility and the streets talk. So they
That's
already
right.
know what happened in the
And
jail.
that's my issue. That's one of the one things that I wanted to bring up. I know we was running out of time, but that's one of the things that I wanted to bring
Mm-hmm.
up too. Is that watch now you're going to see all his family members in the courtroom crying and
Uh-huh.
not even
Uh-huh.
trying to make, not even trying. They like they the victims. That's where I hate.
Yep.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
What if the man
despise.
had a gun and killed her and the son, and it could have
Yep.
been so bad, but it's not that it's but not
Yep.
that it's not bad enough. Yeah. Not that it's not bad enough
I
already. But what
definitely
if he would have
agree.
shot but what if he would have just shot her in general? Because he didn't have to beat her. He could have been like, you better get your shit and get out this store, blah blah blah, and shot her. He could have did
Yeah.
that in general. Like
Now,
anything could have happened. But I mean
granted, a
anything did
lot of this,
happen, but
granted, a
still.
lot of this is speculation, so we don't know what happened before that person pushed play. It may have been a
So
lot.
when I went on to the shade room, it's being reported that she was complaining about her food not being made correctly and was holding up the line, and he essentially got angry at her for
Hmm.
holding up the line about complaining about her food. So they went back and forth with words, and then that's when he escalated it and said that he was, if you don't get your shit and get out the store, but whatever he said to her.
Now,
That's
that's
how it.
clearly mental. That's clearly mental. I have a problem with clear, proof mental illness, and we still not. And it's hard to say not holding people accountable, but for somebody that's mentally disturbed, that's not a normal
But
thing to
I see
react
it
to.
all the time. Even here in Baltimore, I see niggas in the store complaining, like, man, hurry the fuck up. Why you taking so long ordering your food? I see women doing it like, oh my God, why they still order? I see it
Yeah,
all the time when you
yeah.
in drive-through lines, when
At the
you in
Right.
ATM, it just
car
happened
y'all
to
at
me
the
at the
ATM.
ATM. Yep,
Anywhere, black people have a hard problem with waiting on
Waiting.
being
service.
patient.
We
Yeah.
have a hard time with patience. I don't know what it is with black people and our patience, but we think when we go somewhere to get service, we supposed to be serviced as soon as we hit the door, or as soon as we hit the carryout, or as soon as we hit the bar,
It's
as
not
soon
just
as we
black
hit
people.
anything, as
It's not
soon as
just
we sit
black
down. And
people.
it's not
It's
just black people, but black
the
people
white
be the
people
ones that
act
be taking it
privileged.
overboard.
They
White
act
Yeah.
people do act
privileged.
privileged, yeah, they do. But black people, we just have a problem with waiting in general. When we get to a restaurant, as soon as we sit down, we want our server to be waiting there with our napkins, our water, and normal we already want to drink. And we do it
Now,
all the
I'm a
time.
okay, confession. I am recovering from
Not
a
recover.
lack
I'm
of
crying.
patience. No, because it's a mental tick.
It
Because
is. It's a
sometimes
mental thing.
because
Yep.
the way we see things happening is
Yep.
not necessarily
Yep.
how it's happening, but in some cases it's piss poor customer service.
Piss
And
poor.
I
Yeah. In
know
some
for me,
cases, yeah. You
I'm a
right.
stickler for good because I give good customer service. As YouTube
Yep.
being my clients, I do everything I can to communicate.
Um.
First of all, first
I
of
could
all,
questionable, but go
remember
ahead.
I know where you live at. Uh huh.
You, now you know. Is that? I'm finna move.
It's
I'm
a
moving to
promise,
Florida.
baby. It's
I'm
a
moving to
promise.
Florida with KD.
No,
I
but
don't know. She
but
might put me out.
no, but I'm saying it really.
KD gonna put me out if I move to Florida. I can't move to Florida with her. I gotta find somewhere to go. I gotta
She,
find some refuge.
she's
She
not
gonna
safe
say
in this.
right.
She's not
You
safe
better
in this
go.
I'm
environment.
not safe
But
anywhere at this point.
we have to figure. We have to begin to work. And there's a lot of mental health awareness
A
programs that are
lot.
out there. But we have to begin. One, it starts with when people are children. It starts, and as
Mm-hmm.
a teacher, I'm seeing bad behavior from parents as it pertains to their children, as it pertains to themselves. And we have to begin to make it comfortable for people and safe for people to one get the help that they need. Stop calling people crazy. They are, but
Mm-hmm.
stop calling people crazy and
I like how we
identify
is.
what the problem is. It's not a blanket statement. Your son is crazy because your boyfriend was raping him,
You
and
know what's
Ooh, now
crazy?
you
see,
stay with
now,
that man,
now
or
see.
you're
Wait a
still with
minute.
that man.
Now,
He
now,
could
wait a
That's
minute.
no. I'm
he
just
Hold
saying.
on, you hit a nerve
No,
right there.
but I'm
But
saying
you telling the
there's
truth.
a
no,
yeah, there's
I
a
was getting ready
reason
to say that.
behind people mental
I
disorder.
was getting ready to say that there was a personal experience that just happened. Remember the lady that I told y'all about? She was one of the first viewers to watch our show, Lisa, and she passed away 2 or 3 weeks ago. My
Oh,
mother
you
Mm.
ain't
said
tell
when
me
she,
that.
yeah. Oh, you weren't on the show. I told Nate last week. It was last
Mhm.
week.
Wait a minute, who Lisa?
Her name was Lisa Monet, or Monet is how she came on the show. If you go back to the very first couple of shows, she would always come on and say, "Good morning, ladies."
Yeah.
Well, she was one of the first viewers. Well,
Anyway,
she passed away. She had like a sudden embolism or something like that, and
Mhm.
they found her 3 days later because she
pulmonary. For you to be in the
coma.
nursing field, you don't know
I'm not in
pulmonary
the nursing
embolism.
field. I'm in banking. I ain't been in
You,
nursing
I
for 10
said for
years.
you,
I don't know
used to
nothing.
be. You used to be in the OBGYN office for 17 years, and now she done been in banking for 2 years, and now she don't know nothing about no nursing.
I don't know nothing
Girl,
about
you
it.
know what a pulmonary embolism is, and I used to watch Grey's Anatomy, and I know what that
No,
is.
no, no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? Wait a minute. What are we talking about, Tamika? What did I do?
With someone
What
who
did I
has frequently
do?
went out with Nate to eat, he ain't lying about your patient.
About your
About
Oh
your
patient.
yeah.
patient.
But because I've gotten food poisoning before because someone didn't
Ooh.
hear what I said when I asked them to prepare my food, and
Mm.
because of that, anybody that ever got their stomach pumped before, it is not good. And it's not a
Mm.
one time the food is out, you good. You deal with that for a week or so after. So I'm real particular about
Ooh.
my food. I'm real particular about my food. Sorry. Yes, Tamika.
Yeah, when
I
I
I
should
find
not
it
lie.
funny how we as adults try to teach kids patience, but we don't also have the
We don't
same
have
patience,
patience.
and we don't have
That's why I
patience at
said
all. We teach our
I
kids,
admit,
wait your turn, hold on.
but
But
I
as soon
admit,
as we go out somewhere,
right.
it's like, where the fuck my shit at? Where the
But
fuck my food?
it took me working with women and children for me to identify that I have, because sometimes you don't know you have an issue. This is just how I live. But it
Yeah,
took me working
yeah,
with a lot of women and a lot of
yeah.
children for me to identify, hey, you got an
That you
issue
had a
with
patience
patience.
issue.
right.
I know it. I get it from my mother. Like we're just impatient
Mm-hmm.
individuals. So it just figuring that out,
Mm-hmm.
and figuring that out is necessary. But we also
It
have to
is
begin
quite
to create
necessary.
safe
I
spaces for
Yeah.
people and not just
I
talking them
had
off as crazy.
I had issue with my patients like in within the household. My issue was like more
Girl,
OCD.
why you
First of
high
all,
like that? Fix your eye.
Tamika, stop telling my business. I'm
She
in
look customer
recovery right
service and I
now.
Customer
totally
service.
understand, so I'm on board.
Yes. Of all people, of all
Right, of
people,
all
of
people,
all people,
her.
of all
We was
people.
just talking about this last night. How she didn't
Exactly.
want to go to Safari because they don't have good customer service. And she had
Yes.
to wait. And when she waited, what did she do? Threw that drink on that damn girl.
Ooh.
Well, I ain't gonna tell her
Not
business because it's
not
too
the
late
pot
now.
calling the kettle.
The
Not the
kettle.
pot calling
And
the
the
kettle.
kettle calling the pot. Yes,
Oh
Lord.
my goodness.
Yes,
Rebecca,
Lord.
she threw a drink on somebody.
I ain't gonna tell her business, but I did already. I ain't gonna tell
Ooh.
nobody else. I just told the world.
That
I ain't gonna
sound
I
tell
like
nobody
bet
some.
else.
not. Oh, I'm about to go to lunch with her just to see her behavior.
That
Because
sound like
Oh no.
some.
no,
That sound like some
not
shade room
Tamika
stuff.
losing her cool. Not Tamika.
That
Uh-uh.
sound like some shade room stuff, like something you
Listen,
see in
I get it. Cause
celebrities.
Safari do have bad customer. You know what place I don't like going to? The Golden Dragon. They have the worst customer service ever. And I cannot, I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to tell
You
y'all
know
the
who
truth.
got the worst customer
I have walked
service?
out of there plenty of times on my check
Oh.
because they never even noticed that I was gone.
You
They
know who?
never came. I waited 20 minutes for my check. If I gotta wait more than a half an hour for you to bring me my check, that means you don't want to get paid. I'm
Well,
leaving.
let's go to lunch then, Black Roses. Let's go.
The that
Let's go to
restaurant
Look, I
out
lunch.
walk out
Woodlawn.
first, then you walk out after.
That restaurant out Woodlawn,
We
Georgia.
can
Is it
walk out
Georgia Peach?
together.
It's a Georgia Peach.
Georgia
The
Peach.
restaurant out Woodlawn. They
Oh
do
yeah,
not
yeah,
have good
yeah.
customer service at all. They are so negative. They
Really?
act like they do
Well, you
not
know
want to
that
pay.
specifically
They
that
are
one they go through
disgusting.
employees because every time you go, I used to go every Sunday, and it would be different people working there, and
A
that's a
different person
red
every
flag.
Sunday.
There was always a different person working there, and that's
Hmm.
a
Yeah,
red flag
I
You
understand
know what
y'all
I
getting
never
busy,
understood? Why
but they
how
got
customer
bad
service
attitude.
jobs couldn't keep no customer service people. Like that's so sad. Like
because
even
often
when
they don't train them in
they don't
customer
train them
service,
At
properly.
all.
and they don't
Hmm.
like.
They just
Typically,
want you to be
restaurants don't
nice.
like older people working there. They normally like younger people because the perception is they can be faster and I can pay them
But the
less.
older people are the ones that's always nice. They the ones that's nice, that's patient. They'll
Hmm.
come
But
back
they
and
don't
check
want to
on you
have to
most of
pay
the
them.
They
A
time.
don't
older,
want to right. They don't
but
want
the
to pay
older
them the
person
money,
is
and then
not gonna
also
work
the
for little
older
to
person
nothing.
go a
Yep.
little slower, and the older person will take more time
They
versus
sure
if you get
do.
a young person, they like, all right, hurry up, eat your food, get the fuck
They
out, let's go to
sure
the
do.
next customer.
I
Yeah.
had the same, you know what? It's crazy because my kids, their favorite place to go to on the weekends is IHOP. And when we get the
If you notice at
older,
IHOP early in the mornings, it's old people working.
when we get the
Hmm.
older people, when we get the older servants, they are so polite. They come back, they interact
Hmm.
with the kids and everything. How's your meal going? Da da da. The one time I chose to go, it was in the afternoon. It was about 1, 2 o'clock, and the kids wanted IHOP. I took them up there, and I had a young waitress. Girl, she bought me my check as soon as they put the food down. She said, "I'm not rushing you,
Mm-hmm.
bitch. I feel rushed."
Oh, you air
Oh,
people
y'all
dirty
airing
drink.
people's dirty drinks, okay?
But the mental health side of things, like I'm
Mental
not
health
saying
side of things.
you need to just take what people giving you, but there's a way, like the way I'm dealing with my patience level now is I don't yell. If I feel
Mm-hmm.
myself getting into a
Oh,
yelling
Nick, I'm
state,
like that too. I'm like that too.
I take myself out of the situation.
I don't need to be
Just
on
give me
time.
my money back, or let me leave. I'm
What you
that
say?
person. I'm
I
definitely
just
that
wanted to
person.
show y'all that turtle. This turtle, it's this big turtle. I don't mean to be off topic, but that turtle be throwing me off because they say turtles move slow. That turtle be running across.
Turtle can
I'm
move.
learning. Like I think genuinely my patience when it comes down to waiting in restaurants. If I'm waiting for
Right.
too long, I'm gonna have a problem. But if I'm waiting
I
for like
have
20,
pa-
30 minutes, I'm gonna be like, okay, all right,
But
just
yeah.
but
chill,
Dill, like, so Katie was making a point, like, make better choices. But
make
in
better
that
choices.
situation, get up and leave.
Right.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
they
Don't
see
have
get
to
up
if
and
say
they
that
leave.
because at
see
the end of
that,
the day, you gonna pay for service that you get.
trust and believe. If you get up and walk towards that door, that server gonna make eye contact. They gonna see
Hmm.
that.
Or the manager gonna be like, where they going? Where they going? Baby, I'm out of here. You lost
And
me.
that's happened to me several times. And you get stuff taken on Fridays. The one out Town Plaza. I don't know how many times that manager out there, and it was the same one, have given me discounts because they brought
That's
my
Applebee's
entree
at the
out.
plaza.
Applebee's. I keep calling it Fridays. Fridays
I
every
used
time.
to work there.
Applebee's. I mean, but you get that environment though. I've had my
I used to
entree
love
be
working
brought out
there.
before my appetizers was brought out, and I used to get
I
frustrated
don't
over
like
stuff
that.
like that. But
Me
you have
too.
to, like, if it's not killing you, yeah, this is my money that I'm spending. But if it's not killing you, make a choice.
Make a choice.
Most times
My
our
husband,
attitudes come up when we have failed to make a choice. Leave. If I'm sitting here for 20, 30 minutes waiting on a server, waiting on my check, waiting on my meal, let me get up. Let me get up and go out. Because then that server has to pay for that food
Yeah.
if it's still been put in. Like
Yeah.
they gotta wait for that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, make a choice. And I'm not arguing with anybody anymore. Now I'm gonna lie. I'm telling a lie in that. Because if the situation calls for it and I'm in the mood, it's happening. But beyond that, I'm not arguing with people anymore. And I think we have to begin to make choices. If I've been in those type of situations and
So
Curry.
so what he's saying is before y'all approach Nate, y'all better read his energy.
No, but don't but see that's
Read his
what's going
terms and
no.
conditions.
Don't read my
KB, read
energy.
his terms and conditions.
Don't read my energy because often that's what gets you in trouble. Because most
Read his
people think
terms and conditions. That's what you
because
need him to
I'm
read.
normally I'm
Make
not
sure
a
you
mean
got.
person, so I'm normally just aloof a lot. So people think that that's the person I can get over with because I
Make
don't do well
sure.
with setting visible boundaries.
Make sure
So
you're not coming up
Neither
to
Nate.
no, just
Now
be
that you
ready.
got
said that,
time
Just
to
be
I
ready.
don't do well with
when he
setting
got time.
boundaries, and I need to start doing that. And I think when I start setting boundaries, people gonna be like, "Oh, you acting funny," but
They
I don't
are.
know how to set
They
boundaries with
are.
Yeah.
people. I don't know
Oh,
They
how.
are.
I'm getting that. I've been getting that for the last couple years. I'm
They
difficult
are.
I
because
don't know
what
how.
happens is no, what happens is when you begin to set and boundaries are not for other people though.
Right.
Boundaries are for those are the guidelines that you set for yourself.
Right.
It deals with how you allow people to respond to you, but those are your boundaries. You set rules for other people. You set boundaries for yourself, and that's for you not to cross and for nobody else to cross. So you have to
Yeah.
begin to set those boundaries, and it's going to feel different. But when I say there's a freedom in saying no, I don't want to do that, and they were like, well, hear me out. No, I just told you I don't want to do that. Or it really does. But put yourself in there, and I think learning how to effectively set boundaries will help a lot of people with their mental ticks because you won't be triggered as much.
Right. And you
But
can
Put the
separate it.
fly down.
I need for her to
Stop
get
fighting
a
the cat.
get a turtle, miss.
This cat, y'all, she
Maybe
just.
you don't need a cat.
I'm wondering what is all that rumbling and tumbling in my living room. She looking at me. I see something black hanging from her mouth. Put the fly down.
She got a
Fly on the
fly.
floor. She kills y'all. If I would show y'all my room floor, y'all would be like, ew. She has dead flies all around my floor.
I wouldn't tell people that. One,
I
you
got
have
a question.
I
first of
keep
all,
my
you
windows
why?
open. No, my house ain't nasty. I keep my windows open so that naturally the flies gonna fly in. And she like to sit there and
Huh.
she like to talk to them, and then she'll catch them, kill
Y'all
them,
don't have no
she'll play
screens
with
up
them,
at
and then
your
kill them.
windows.
No, I'm gonna show you the little hole that they don't put no screens. It's not big enough. Oh, I can't turn my camera around. Well, it's not big enough for a screen. You see that? You see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not big enough for a screen to go in there because that's as far as the
That's as
window
high
go
as your
up.
window go up.
When I moved in, it was
What
like
type of
federal.
air
She
is
was
coming
telling
in that
me
window?
none. It's just enough. That's why I keep my air conditioner on. People like you can't. I'm like, listen, that little crack in that window ain't gonna bother nothing.
It is, girl.
But
It's letting the air out.
she was telling me that federal regulations now they have it to where as though you can't open your windows all the way. It's a rule or something when it comes to apartment buildings, so that
Mm-hmm.
people won't jump out or that the
Yeah.
kids won't,
Yeah.
jump out the window or some shit. So
You
it
just
has like
saving money, so
blockers.
don't have to.
It has blockers on the window to where as though I can't let it up but so far. And that's as far as it'll go.
Let me find out she live in a facility.
Let me see your windows again. Make sure ain't no gates on there.
Right, right.
Y'all tried it.
She live
Y'all
in one of
tried
those
it.
special buildings. Okay,
See,
the truth
that's as
comes
far as it's
out.
gonna go. Stop playing with me. Say y'all said I knew that bitch was crazy.
Is your apartment a manor? Is it a manor or
No, it's not a man, a child. Does it end in Pratt? Does it end in Pratt or
is it
anything?
in France?
Does it end in anything like anything?
Do you have
What's the
permission to
curfew?
leave your
Right.
build
What's
your
the curfew?
apartment?
What's the
I come
curfew?
and go as I please. I don't have a time to be in the house. Y'all
Okay.
tries it. Y'all
We just
tries it real
wondering. We
bad.
trying to keep you safe. That's all.
Y'all tries it real bad.
But I added this one today because it was triggering reading the comments.
Oh.
I get why women are so hostile in today's world
Mm,
because
mm.
people automatically jump to the defense sometimes of men because, and I'm only saying it, and me and KD have given several examples of where men were not in the wrong. And
Oh
the
yeah,
assumption
absolutely.
is, but you have, especially a lot of men have been in those situations where they haven't been the aggressor or they're typically defending themselves. Or in this situation, now learning that, we always know that there's something happened before the person push play, but
Hmm.
we have to not be so social media has made it so easy for people to be judgmental. And I already saw people already, making assumptions about, her coming in and calling her son to come in there and shoot him. Like we just add 50 to 20 for no reason
Right.
just because we can, just because it's something we would have done,
Right.
But again, we have to give grace to this mother and her son that was in this situation. Because if it's true that she was just complaining about her food not being done, that's no right for you to go to another restaurant, sir.
Right.
Why can't you choose another chicken box spot?
Hmm.
It's my right to, make sure my food that I'm probably spending like $20 on a meal,
It looked like they
is
was in a
correct.
Chinese joint, so it might have been more.
Right. And we have to begin to learn how to communicate with each other because he could have done things differently. He could have left, or he could have just walked outside for a second. Some of us, I can be a hothead, but I've learned how to deal with my temper in a way that does not affect other people. And it
Yeah,
doesn't affect me. But it's
yeah,
clear that we still have a ways to go in terms of how we communicate with each other, how we handle situations.
Right.
I don't know one mother that would call their son into a situation like that. And not to blame her, but baby, you have a 14-year-old.
that's my
No,
thing. He is a child.
he's a child and now he's in a facility.
Now he in a facility,
Yeah.
probably with grown ass men.
But he probably in
Then
the
Chicago
children.
too.
Right, he probably in the children. It's baby bookings everywhere now. So he's probably
Yeah,
in another facility, which is not probably healthy. Because what if he's not a problem child? Now he's in a facility with children who have been a problem.
Right.
Learning God knows what or having to defend himself without a gun. But it allegedly she has a license to carry a concealed weapon. So they live in Chicago. What they say about Baltimore is true in Chicago, but it's just it hurts me in a way because now we have another young man in the system, and nobody's gonna care that I was defending my mother.
nope.
Nobody's gonna care about
They
those
don't give
things.
a damn about that.
They're
And you
just
better
gonna see
hope he
that I
ain't
have
got
a
a
gun
cousin in the
charge.
same facility. You better hope he ain't got
Hmm.
a cousin in the same facility.
Or
Yep.
somebody that don't like him.
Right.
I understand, in the women jails, I've worked as an educator in those systems. They typically have a better support system in those spaces because often they're mothers, because often they, are women. But I'm more
Hmm.
concerned with that child in that environment. I feel for the family that lost a child or a family member, but we have to stop excusing bad behavior. And when your child shows signs of having a tick, believe it. Get them help, whether they want it or not. Get them the help that they need. Call people out. Stop picking up your damn camera. Maybe one person has the camera so we can now see what happened, clearly see what happened. But again, start jumping in. I'm that person. If I see somebody hitting on somebody, I do it strongly with parents. I don't care how you feel about me. I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna say something. But we have to
I
stop
don't
picking
know.
up
I
that
be I
camera
be
first.
iffy about the parent situation. But like the guy who had, I think his name was something Barksdale. He got killed like last year, maybe year before last, over on
Hmm.
Caroline. He was
Yep.
trying to stop the man from beating up his girlfriend, and the man essentially turned around and shot him,
And that's why
killed him.
people don't jump in.
That's why people don't jump
That's
in.
why
And
people
then you
don't
got
jump
the ones
in.
who you do jump in for, your friends and stuff. And guess what she gonna do? End up right back with the nigga.
Yep. So that's why people
That's
have
happened
learned
to
not
that
to
happened to
jump
my
in.
sister. My
Yep.
sister homegirl got stabbed by her boyfriend 6 times a couple months ago. And they
Lord.
locked her. He almost killed her. Almost killed
Mm,
her stupid behind. And they locked him up. And the whole time he was in jail, she got a job so she can bail him out. And now she
mm.
right back with him talking about he said he not gonna do it no more. Girl,
Now,
he done knocked your
what if
head
your
between that
sister would
washer
have
dryer
jumped in that?
52
What if your
times.
sister would have jumped in that?
Now, yeah,
She would have been the one stabbed, and
mm-hmm,
now y'all beating her up because now she back with the nigga.
mm-hmm. Oh, now he looking at her all funny.
Right? They have
Don't
a
hang
now
out with her.
now
What you hanging
he
out with
has an
her
enemy
for?
out in the world.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's and I'm not saying that's good, but that's the reason why people don't jump in to
That's
altercations
why.
anymore. Because you
Yeah.
will be back with that nigga. And now
Right back with
I
him.
got a gunshot to the head, or I've been bruised, or now I have an enemy out of both of you all. Mm-mm. Yeah. This the world we live in, y'all.
Yeah,
Y'all like
it's
it?
sad. It's sad that's the world we live in. And not just with that, with other things too. But
Yeah.
KD, finish your story about Lisa. What happened?
Oh yeah, she so her daughter, they kept trying to call her for like a week and she wouldn't answer. No, 3 days. They tried to call her for 3 days. She
That's
wouldn't answer because
sad.
PA. And her daughter, who I'm related to on my father's side, she went up there to go check on her, and she found her. So she had been in the house for about 3 days, and nobody knew she was dead. But what
Mm,
Yeah.
happened was, going back to what Nate was saying about calling people crazy. That's what they used to call her, because she was like bipolar schizophrenic, so she
Yeah.
would have manic
mm,
episodes. That's how she ended up being going up to PA, because they had to put her in an environment, like a controlled environment. Like basically she had a nurse that would come in and check on her, or her sister would come in and check on her so she could be closer to them, so
yeah,
they could basically watch her. But
yeah.
they called her Crazy Lisa. And what happened was, when my mother went up there to the funeral, after the funeral, during the repast, one of my mother's friends had they was drinking and talking, and they was like, we're gonna do a toast to Lisa, and people was just speaking up and talking about her, and one of my mother's friends had turned around and was like, yeah, although we all know she was crazy, and we all know what I had to put up, because she stayed with her for a little while. She stayed with my mother's friend for a little while. So she was like, yeah, you know what I had to put up and deal with, and we all know she was crazy. And they just went off on her. They was like, really? That's your toast? Like, you just really just gonna come out and that's what you got to say? Even in her dying, even at the end, that's what you're gonna say. You couldn't have just said we all gonna miss her, something simple. You had to bring up, everybody know that that's what they call her, but for you to actually bring that up as a toast to her, of saying, her going away, it was inappropriate. But she, in turn, my mother said she ended up leaving her friend because she rode with her. My mother was like, you gonna have to call your husband to come pick you up or something, because she turned
That's
around.
hilarious.
She turned around and made herself into a victim. She was like, everybody's coming for me, and y'all know what I had to go through. And she went in the corner and started crying and stuff. But you brought it
You
up.
ain't think about that when you was talking shit about Lisa.
Like her,
Mm.
her daughter
I'm
was
on
there.
everybody else's side. I don't know the lady, and I don't even want to take up for her. I
her
don't like you talking about
her
people I know.
grandkids was there. Her daughter was there, and
You
her
said her
daughter,
name was Lisa Monet?
yeah, she came across as Lisa, and then Monae. She came on a couple of our shows when we first started. She would always
Yeah, I
make the
remember the name.
I
she would
do
always
too. I
make
just
them.
gotta put it with the face.
But yeah, that's what happened. She decided that was going to be her toast, to say, y'all know she was crazy and this and that and the other. And when everybody went and basically tried to correct her, and like they said, people need to start speaking up. So when people started speaking up, she went in the victim mode. She went in the corner and was like, everybody know what I went through, and they know she put me through a lot when I let her stay with me. But your husband putting you through way more than that. But that's a whole different topic. I'm sorry to pull people call.
Uh,
Y'all, I just
rest,
want to say,
rest people make connections.
me.
No, I said black people will make connection because then her husband ain't even. They will have that chain up, but that's sad. I see crazy differently now than I saw it as a child because we're taught. That's why I was saying in the beginning we're taught things from our environment, and it becomes how we believe. You know, if you have enough thoughts about something, you believe it, and we just have to
Them
change our.
children scared the hell out of me in that back seat. I'm about to say, who the hell is that in her back seat?
They found her. Oh, mommy in the car, y'all.
Let's go. She getting ready to leave out of
We
here.
about
Leave
to get
us.
rid of leave out here.
No, they sitting here. I told you everybody going to the pool, different pools. The kids is going
Why
up
are
to.
you running away from your children?
Right. Why you leaving them in that hot car by themselves?
I'm bringing them out the car because this is not the car that I'm taking, and they jumped in the car thinking I'm getting ready to pull off. I ain't even put my clothes on yet. They
They
got
said,
it
"Oh, you
ready.
ain't going nowhere without me."
I'm
Period.
not. It's like 13
You
cars
out
out
here
here.
running your mouth on this damn show. You better go get dressed.
That's why I said I'm walking towards the house because they didn't jump thinking I'm getting ready to pull off. I gotta get myself together because it's a they have a community pool that anybody can swim for free as long as you live within the community. You ain't even gotta show your ID. You just go up there and I
Mm,
guess tell them
I'm on
your
my way.
address. It's a really
I'm on my
nice
way.
pool, but the older kids were going to a lake, and the younger kids they supposed to be starting swimming lessons next in 2 weeks, so they don't really know how to swim. So I prefer them not to go to the lake because nobody can watch them. The older kids already know how to swim.
but yeah, I this has been definitely an
Yeah,
interesting
but
conversation, and I want y'all to have more conversations around mental health as it pertains to just a lot of stuff because it's just not. I don't think we have a handle on it yet, and we have to stop just
no, we
labeling
don't.
people as crazy and just leaving it there because there's
You know what you
reasons
said
behind
to me the other
everything.
day? There's a lot of people walking around here without their medication, just in the atmosphere, in the environment,
Yep.
homeless, no mental health out of the wazoo. And just like you said, downtown alone, from here to my job, I can literally walk from here to work on any given day and come across at least 3 or 4 people who is going off their medication and out here
Or
going off.
don't even know that they need medication. They
Uh-huh.
just that's where a lot of them live and sleep, and are at all day long. So,
All day.
I when you said that, the first thing I said to you, be careful in that neighborhood. And it's not that some of them are aggressive. It's just that the people who work and live in that area who may also need, who feel like they're functional individuals, the way they
I
react
feel
to
like
those
that was
people.
shade.
I'm just saying there's a lot of people who think that they good and they not good.
Me.
All right, well,
But just be careful because some of the way that those people react to them makes them more defensive. So when
Yeah,
you
make them go
even
off
if you
even
say
more.
hi to them, it may throw them off because they're used to people yelling at them or throwing stuff at them or teasing them. So yeah.
well, this was
Mm.
a good show, guys. Sorry I was late.
Don't be pushing us off.
I'm getting
You
Right.
was late and you trying to leave early? Oh
I'm getting
hell
up out of
no.
here. I'm getting up out of here because I gotta take these kids swimming, and otherwise they're
You
gonna be
stay
any
on
part
because
of the
we need to have
show.
a little meeting after we
I
finish.
know I am, but we still ending the show. So thank you guys for tuning in to KD's show
Damn.
today. Um,
Not KD show. It's always the late one that wanna like
Run the shit.
right.
anybody come here to see you, Otis?
I
This
know, right? Yo,
Y'all
I
like
like
y'all
living
new
right
y'all
here.
I
like
be
y'all new
so messy.
photos.
No, not
Yes, I
really.
like mine.
No, not really.
Well, you can actually update it. You can update my photo to the new picture that I put on Facebook.
I like your picture, Black Roses. You just don't you
It's
sister
so
warrior
cool.
queen on it. You want to be, pop star with
Did
your
you?
lashes and
That's what I'm
your
going to
your
say. She
long
had her
weave.
lashes
That
on.
was pre lash, pre who
It
I
looks
am
like
now.
you though.
Who? Get in the car.
It doesn't
That
look
was pre my.
abnormal.
That's when I had my little. I would wear my head wraps all the time. I don't even think I had hair then. I just had a head wrap on because I
I
ain't want
mean,
my
you
hair.
don't have hair now. Like, just be real.
I got hair.
Well, thank you all for tuning in while they having this
When I pop out
conversation.
with my new hair,
The
don't y'all be mad.
conversation is over. Make sure y'all
Damn.
tune in to I.Am.She on Facebook, Instagram. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to become a guest, you can hit us up podcast IamShe@gmail.com. KD is off because I done had about enough of these two. Thank you. Have a great day.